Hey guys, welcome to Thursday Night Live. I hope you guys are ready for a great show. Been preparing for this the last couple of days. I hope it works out. There's going to be a lot of moving parts here. Want to welcome everyone in the chat and my mods. Thanks for being here. I hope you guys who are celebrating Easter have a great Easter coming up. Happy spring break. Getting warm out here in Southern California. So yeah, we're definitely into that kind of weather out here. So we're going to do a couple of different things here. First, we're going to go over some things Gypsy's been doing real quick, not a whole bunch, but because I've got so much I need to get to. And first, let me go ahead and bring up your comments so we can get that going for the replay crew that will be watching later. And of course, like I always do, I want to welcome some people, thank some people for being here, and then we'll get to the show. All right, guys. First up, we've got Marcel Harding, one of our newest loyal people. Been seeing Marcel around a lot. Thank you for the super sticker, Marcel. Next up, we got Wendy Williams enters the chat. Who has become a member? I saw Wendy last night. You said you had to renew it, and I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Wendy Williams, member for 9 months. How time flies when you are swap possum hunting. Yes, right? That says it all, Wendy. We got one of our favorites, Forest Friend, who did gift one Becca Scoops membership. Thank you so much, Forest Friend. Love you. We got Connie Blue Sky 72, who's been a member for 1 whole month. One of our new people. Welcome her in. Glad to finally catch a live and not the replay. Awesome, Connie. So glad to see you here. Again, Connie Blue Skies, $4.99. Thanks, Connie. Love you, Becca. Keep bringing the facts. Choo choo. I will. You guys want to show up? I'll keep doing this. Here we go. Next up, I've got Sherry, 1968, member for 6 months. Thank you, Sherry. And we got the Beach ZW, who also became a new member. Welcome them aboard. We got Murray, 5822, $5. So excited. Also, anyone notice when Gypsy randomly licks the air? We're going to go over some of that today. You're going to see some other things. It's the same vibes as Barty Crouch Jr. from Harry Potter. Scary. I think that's right. Okay, next up, we got Honey Floor, 420. One of our OGs, member for 11 months. Thank you, Becca, and all Truth Trained people, plus creators. Well, thank you, Honey Floor, for being here, supporting all of the creators, and you're the people that keep us going. Next up, our favorite Claire Power. Claire gifted 5 Becca Scoops memberships. Claire, so generous. Thank you so much. So glad to see you here. Gamma Goulet also gifted 5 Becca Scoops memberships. Welcome all the new Truth Train members in, guys. This is great. And we've got Main Chick Carrie, $2.99 super sticker. Main Chick Carrie, thank you so much. Love you. Wendy Williams is back with $5. The pandering possum pondering profits perpetually. Yeah, say that fast 5 times, right, Wendy? Next up, we got Gamma Goulet, member for 4 months. I finally made it back for a live. Yay. My week has been ass, so I have been looking forward to this. Well, I'm glad that I could be here for you. Sorry to hear about a bad week, but hopefully that's over. And as you sail into the weekend, it'll be good for you. Kristen Gagnon, member for 11 months. Another one of our OG members, Kristen. Lovely to see you. And we've got Summer Puzzles, $1.49 super sticker. Summer, thank you so much. Glad that you're here too. And Mishy Cat, one of our favorites, member for 3 months. Hey, Becca, loving the new intro and outro. Well, thank you so much. Thank you. We thought we'd spruce it up a little bit. Fox and Faye also gifted 5 Becca Scoops memberships. Wow, we've got a lot of new members. Can't complain about that, right, guys? Carolina, 75, member for 9 months. Thank you for all you do, Becca. I really appreciate your hard work in trying to correct the false narrative that Gypsy sold us for the last 10 years. Well, you're very welcome. Thank you for everyone in chat. All of us have been working on this for a while, and that's what this live is going to be about today. You guys are going to not believe what I have in store. Anne Fran, one of our mods, $1.99. Happy Easter, Becca, and chat to all of your families. Well, thank you, Anne. Thank you so much. Happy Easter to you too. We got the prison nurse member for 5 months. Yay. So glad I caught you live. I'm so glad I could be here. So glad to see you, the prison nurse. And we got one of our favorite. Whoa. What? Granny Groza has been like, I have to give her a thank you note. I wish I had your email. Gifted 50 Becca Scoops memberships. That is beyond generous. I am so humbled by that. I know the chat is going to be thrilled. The people that get the memberships. Granny, you are like such a star. You are like a hero. I swear to God, you are so dedicated to this cause, and you really humble me, and I really, really appreciate that. Thank you, Granny. Okay, next up, we've got Tabby Whispers, member for 4 months. Hello, Scoops Troops. Thanks for all you do. Well, hello back, Tabby. Thanks for being here. We'll do a couple more, and then we'll get going here, guys. Bree with the Warrens. You guys crack me up. I swear to God. Okay. Member for 4 months. This couldn't have come at a better time. My brain is mush. Okay, good. I better not go to a mushy brain, or this isn't going to be a good look on this live. But so glad that you're here, Bree with the Warrants. I hope you're doing well. Let's do one more. 1 ounce of Jameson, $1.99. Thank you for all you do, Becca. Well, 1 ounce of Jameson. I saw just before I went live that you've emailed me a couple of things. Haven't had a chance to look at it, but thank you for all you're doing and all the files you're sending me. It's I just so thankful. Thank you so much, 1 ounce of Jameson. All right, so we're going to leave off with her there. And then we will come back mid-show and get to some more of your comments. You guys want to weigh in on some of the things we're going to be going over. Okay, so all right. So Gypsy put out a little April Fool's TikTok video. Let's go ahead and take a look. See what she had for us for April Fool's Day. Okay, so there was no sound to this, or there was music. I had to not play it, but of course she is pretending that she's pregnant. Yeah, pretending that she's pregnant and acting all excited and happy. I guess her good friend Natalie Reynolds did the same thing, but Natalie was crying in hers, I heard. It's my pregnancy test from 2024. Okay. Yeah, so that's what she put out. Some people felt that possibly this was insensitive to certain people that can't get, like doing April Fools on pregnancy. I don't know what you guys think about that. I don't really have any. I mean, it's kind of mind-numbing stuff, right? This isn't original. We saw that Natalie Reynolds, I guess, put it out. I don't spend a lot of time on TikTok, but I'm sure this isn't new, right? Doing stupid stuff like this. But yeah, I also I couldn't upload a whole bunch of the stuff that she had. But let me just get to a few others here. This one too, a lot of people sent me, they were complaining about this one.
Alone. If I'm walking around in the house, it's attached to my leg, walking with me. Sometimes I can't even turn around because her head's in the crack of my ass. Honey, it don't leave me alone. If I'm walking around in the house, it's attached to my leg, walking.
Yeah, that one, I was just like, maybe it's just not my sense of humor, but I just don't find it funny, talking about your daughter in the crack of your ass. It's just, she finds that stuff funny, I guess. I don't know. You guys let me know in the comments. Or is it even worth commenting on? I don't know. Okay, just one more.
How you doing? I want to kill you. Oh, yeah, take a number, honey. Hi, ladies. How you doing? I want to kill you. Oh, yeah, take a number, honey.
I'm sure that's kind of a troll on the haters, probably. I don't know. Who knows? She's trying to make money. She is putting out stupid content. She likes to do rage baiting. The funny thing is, when I go over to have to screenshot these, I'm finding I do look in the comments, and there was one funny comment on one of them. Let me see. Did I get it? Yeah. Okay. So there was one funny comment on one of them, and I want to share this on her April Fools. It was the best comment. I'm sure she got rid of it right away, but I got over there and I was able to screenshot it. Here we go. You guys will enjoy this. Yeah. So it's Ken with a with a ring box, and it says April Fools. I'm sure that was gotten rid of really quick, but somebody came up with that, and I thought, okay, I like that. That's a good one. Yep, that was a good one. So I noticed the other thing I want to comment, and then we're going to get on with the serious part of the show, is that the ones with her baby, if you go over and look, the ones like when she's holding the baby, like they're at this lake place or whatever, 5 million views. The other ones, not so much. Yeah, maybe 1 million, maybe 700,000. But with the baby, 5 million views. So, okay. Yeah, that's what's going on with that. So she's still no word about the podcast. It's coming up on April, 4 months into the new year, and that's something that she announced at the new year, right? She was going to be coming out with this podcast. I don't know. I saw one comment a while ago where she said, yeah, I'm still doing that. I don't know if that's true or not. Time will tell. We shall see, right? It looks like all she's doing to me is making this stupid, really mind-numbing content on TikTok. All right, enough said about that. Let's get to some serious stuff. So, for those of you that either saw my last video or missed my last video, what it was about was something Gypsy had reposted. And I sometimes don't look at what she reposts, but for this day, I did. And I found that she reposted this video of this content creator named Michelle Cuervo, who has 2 million followers on TikTok. And so I'm like, yeah, why would Gypsy, what does this girl say that Gypsy's reposting it? Well, it was a 20-minute video of this girl. I'm sure a lot of you saw my last video, going over Gypsy's case. And basically, it was just misinformation after misinformation after misinformation, 20 minutes. And I'm like, I gotta address this. I didn't want to cause trouble for her. And I know you guys didn't cause trouble for her, but I can report that within my video being out for 45 minutes, Michelle took it down. Now, she hasn't reached out to me yet, but I'm going to reach out to her. Because look, she's got 2 million followers on TikTok. She has a huge platform, and people regularly, she gets a lot of views. That video about Gypsy got over 500,000 views. And so she took it down. So I got to believe that she knows now that it's misinformation. You wouldn't take it down unless you were like, oh, this is wrong, right? Okay, so that's a win for us because it wasn't me that did it. It's you guys who went over and commented. I don't know if she even knew I had a video. Probably not. She doesn't know who I am. So you guys, this is what I mean by like all of us together doing stuff. It may not seem big, but every little thing that we do like this makes a huge difference. If we can get someone like her on board, right? The more the merrier. So then this brings me to today's live stream. On YouTube, another true crime podcast has put out a video about Gypsy's case. Except they got all the information from her, either the documentaries, it's crazy. We're going to go over this. The documentaries or her memoir. And I'm listening to this video and some of the stuff they say, I don't know where they got it. I'm like watching this and I'm like, I haven't heard that anywhere. And I pretty much know a lot about this case. And I'm like, where did they get that story from? So we're going to go over this and we're going to help them out. And we're not going to be mean, like we weren't mean to Michelle, but we're not, but still the truth has a place in our lives. And it's not okay to put out misinformation. And if you do, and you've got a platform, I think you owe it to your followers to say, hey, I put out something and this was wrong, right? I mean, everyone makes mistakes. It's okay to make mistakes. I just don't know what kind of research is going on with this. Is like 2 in a row now, right? Okay. So who are they? Let me find who they are. They are, they're called Crime House and, they're on YouTube. They also are on Apple Podcasts. They're over on TikTok too. And so I don't know their names, but that's who they are. And yeah, we're going to go over their video and we're going to help them learn the truth about this case. And maybe they will also feel the need to take down their video that they put out. And again, please, we want to act respectful. We want to act professional, but we want to, nicely nudge these people to say, hey, you might want to have a second look. Not sure. Well, I am sure that the information you have is not correct. And actually, the story, the truth, the real truth, the truth is much more intriguing than the story you're telling, right? So it's worth it to learn the truth, because if you're in true crime and you want to have a podcast and you want to report on Gypsy Rose, I'm telling you the truth of what all of us have uncovered over the last 2 years is way more intriguing than the bull crap people are putting out. The narrative that we were all sold, right? The Hulu, the act. It's. I think they got a lot of it from there too. Okay, without further ado, let me go ahead and bring up their video. We're gonna go ahead and school them on the truth, because that's what we do in this community, right? We're all about it. Okay.
Waukesha to Springfield that day, and he would just so happen to be.
All right, I gotta put it on the beginning here. Okay, here we go.
Yeah. So Dee Blanchard was born on May 3rd, 1967 in Golden Meadow, Louisiana. And this is a very small Cajun town deep in the bayou, the type of place where family ties and Cajun pride ran deep. It was a fishing town where Dee father, Claude, spent most of his days out in the water working, which meant her mother, Emma Petrie, was in charge of 6 children. Dee was the youngest, and by most accounts, the favorite. Family members later described Emma as very protective of Dee, especially after doctors identified a heart murmur when she was a baby. And obviously as a mother, like when you hear that, that would be terrifying. It terrified Emma, and she became very, very protective over Dee and almost immediately started treating her differently than her other 5 children. So while the other kids were expected to do chores, to go work, earn money, and contribute to the family, Dee was not. She was doted on, which psychologically established a correlation between like a medical ailment.
Okay, now this woman is going to take liberties here. And I have nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with taking liberties to say, because this happened, in her opinion, this made a psychological correlation for Dee between being sick and getting attention and getting love. Now, do we know that for a fact? No, we don't know that for a fact. So I really think if she's going to say something like this, and sometimes I do this too, and I always try to say, in my humble opinion, you know what I mean? But here's the problem with saying this. People listening to this are going to really think, oh, this is how Dee got Munchausen by proxy, because of when she was a kid, this happened. And I don't know that we know what Dee felt psychologically, right? I mean, all right.
And attention. And special treatment. And love. Dee Dee pretty much got anything and everything she wanted. She wanted a new dress. She got it. A car. She got it. And even though the Petries weren't that wealthy of a family, Emma, Dee Dee's mom, always found a way to get and do what Dee Dee wanted.
And the special treatment did not stop when Dee Dee turned 18. After she graduated high school in 1986, Dee Dee decided to become a nurse's assistant and had her parents foot the bill. Once Dee Dee...
Okay, so you guys tell me, because there's some things about this case I don't know. I can't know everything, right? I know Dee Dee worked at the hospital, but did she actually go to school to become a nurse's assistant? If anyone knows, let me know, please. I know she worked at the hospital, but there's a lot of people that work at a hospital. So was she a registered nursing assistant? Like, did she actually go to school, to get that?
She got her certification. She started working at a local hospital, and she was, by all accounts, a model employee.
And this is an important detail to remember as we talk about the rest of the story, because her working in healthcare gave her some knowledge and credibility that when it came to Gypsy Rose's challenges and conditions later in life, people believed her.
Okay, I have said this before, and no shade at nursing assistants. Yeah, they do have some education, but no, they don't know. Like, they wouldn't know. They wouldn't know enough to be able to convince doctors of something. That's just okay. Enough said.
Right. Yeah, and this kind of adds to, and it feels like a clear psychological profile now, knowing all of this stuff about her, and you can see kind of the specifics of her upbringing and how this directly impacted her career choice and where she decided to go as an adult and her actions.
Yeah.
So Dee Dee was making a living in the hospital, but she also liked to let her hair down, right? Because she's young and she's like a lot of 20-something-year-olds and likes to party. And one night she went out with some friends to a bowling alley, and this is where she met 17-year-old Rod Blanchard. Keep in mind, Dee Dee is 23 at the time. Rod is 17. He's still in high school. The age of consent in Louisiana is 17. So the two of them, they hit it off, they start dating, and they start sleeping together. And just a few months into their relationship, Dee Dee found out that she was pregnant. Rod hasn't spoken about this moment in life and their relationship and finding out that Dee Dee was pregnant. And he said that he remembered being really surprised by it. And he was certainly uninformed, because he said that what he knew was if you got a girl pregnant, then you marry her. And so that is what he did. So the teenager, Rod Blanchard, and the adult, Dee Dee, got married.
On July 27th, 1991, Dee Dee Blanchard gave birth to their baby girl, and they named her Gypsy Rose. Dee Dee had always loved the name Gypsy, and Rod's favorite band was Guns N' Roses, which produced Gypsy Rose. By all accounts, Gypsy Rose was a very healthy baby. There are no confirmed medical reports.
Okay, here we go with this. We know this is not true, right? We know this is not true a number of ways. Number one, we know that Gypsy was born with microcephaly, okay? So whether she was probably at birth, but if not, they do the measurements on the head and they knew, okay, we got an issue here. It's a, chromosomal issue, okay? We also know they're going to go on to say, so I'm just going to preempt it here. She was very healthy. There was no health problems. By all accounts, everyone said that Gypsy was healthy. And then the, thing that I've played millions of times, we're going to play for them because hopefully the people that made this video are going to watch this video, I'm hoping. So here you go. Here's from Gypsy's grandfather.
Once you wake her up, the machine will stop. But it was scary.
Our investigation found that... Sorry, guys. Hold on. His father remembers.
After she divorced Rod, Dee Dee moved back with us. And at night, Gypsy had a machine on. The alarm would come on when she stopped breathing. So you had to wake her up. Once you wake her up, the machine would stop. But it was scary.
Okay, so okay. So yeah, no, she wasn't born healthy. No, we do have some confirmed reports. Okay, let me hear what else they say.
Records indicating otherwise, nothing. So now,
okay, she says there's no records indicating otherwise. I don't know if anyone has ever seen any of Gypsy's birth records. I know that Dee Dee put in for medical release when they got to Missouri for whatever records could be found in Louisiana to be sent to Missouri. Okay. And I've shown that medical release form before. Okay. So that is it. Dee Dee did do that. Okay. So, but I don't have all the medical records. And so I don't know where this woman is saying records indicate that she was healthy. What records is this woman looking at? I would love to see them. See, this is the kind of thing. This is the kind of thing that just gets me going. All right.
Rod, Dee Dee, and their baby girl would be a happy little family and live happily ever after. Right? Wrong. Shortly after bringing Gypsy Rose home, Rod Blanchard turned 18. And according to Rod, he woke up on his 18th birthday with a pit in his stomach and just knew he had made the wrong decision by marrying Dee Dee. Soon after, confessed to her and told her that he didn't love her, and he packed up all of his stuff and moved out. And I will never agree with abandoning a wife and newborn, but also Rod was a child.
Yeah.
And he has since expressed regret, stating that he was young, overwhelmed, and not ready for marriage or the responsibilities that came with starting a family. So this obviously broke Dee Dee's heart. Mm-hmm. She tried and tried to fix the relationship, but ultimately they got a divorce. And Rod paid child support monthly, but now Dee Dee is 24, a single mother, dealing with postpartum and heartbreak, very overwhelmed, anxious all the time, as most new mothers are. And so she decided to move back in with her parents so they could help her raise Gypsy Rose. And for the first few months, everything appeared to be going well. They were surviving as best they could.
Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, all of that changed when Gypsy Rose was just 3 months old. It was around this time that Dee Dee began telling doctors that Gypsy Rose was having trouble breathing at night and believed that maybe she had sleep apnea.
Okay, we've already shown that the grandfather has confirmed that there was a breathing machine, there was a CPAP machine, and alarms were going off. So this was not made up by Dee Dee, but these women are going to say it was made up by Dee Dee.
And this goes back to...
And not only that, but we do have evidence that when later on, when Gypsy was older, she did have breathing issues. So we know that. Let me see if I can find that. I've got so much here. Gypsy did have breathing issues. Okay, here we go. Okay, so this is from a sleep study. Okay, and so this is actually medical records. This is not just someone said they heard an alarm go off and it was scary. Although I believe the grandfather. I mean, why would he bring up that for make that up? He wouldn't. It's not something you make up. But if you don't believe him, then you got to believe this. The Gypsy did have a sleep study later on, not at that age, but later on. Okay. And it said that she needed the CPAP machine. In summary, the study revealed an evidence of significant nocturnal hypoventilation resolved with the use of nasal CPAP at 5 centimeters water. Significant nocturnal hypoventilation means at night, not breathing enough. Okay? Not getting enough oxygen. That's what that translates to. That's from a sleep study. Okay? So I have to believe that if Gypsy had this years later, that she probably did have it when Dee Dee told the doctors, at 3 months old, hey, there's something wrong with her breathing at night. Because there's a sleep study that confirms it right here. Okay. All right. Let's continue.
You were saying earlier, Sabrina, with just her having worked in the medical field and having some background and an actual education in it. Mm-hmm. So that gave her some credibility. So when she came in saying hey, I think my infant is having trouble breathing, the doctors didn't question it. They totally believed her.
Also, this is a harder thing to verify and validate as a doctor. You're not doing a sleep study on a baby. If a mom comes in and is every night my baby is having a hard time breathing, right, it's harder to do a test for.
Yeah, you truly would have to do it overnight.
But they did do the test later. Not when she was an infant. You're right. But come on. She did have the sleep study, and it did say significant nocturnal hypoventilation.
Yeah, sleep study. So according to Dee Dee, doctors sent her home with a monitor for baby Gypsy to wear. And if it detected a problem with Gypsy's breathing, the alarm would go off.
And the grandfather said the alarm went off.
It is also important to note that throughout this episode, as we will detail the very, very long list of diagnoses, there are a lot of unknowns. So a lot of things, including the sleep apnea diagnosis, comes from Dee Dee's own claims, not specifically from medical records. So while some things do have medical records to back them up and document specific things, there are a lot that Dee Dee claimed to people. We'll try to specify throughout the episode what is confirmed by doctors and what has been claimed or was claimed.
I'm so glad they're going to tell us what is confirmed diagnosis and what isn't. I'm excited.
Claimed by Dee Dee.
This is giving me so much PTSD at the moment.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking back to everything. So this is according to Dee Dee, and whether it was a real diagnosis or not, Dee Dee was constantly stressed and concerned about her daughter, her infant, Gypsy Rose. So then she learned that Rod was dating someone new and things were getting serious. So like, oh my gosh, the amount of things just like piling up on her and the stress. And this new woman that Rod is dating is named Kathy. And Dee Dee had actually previously worked with Kathy as a nurse.
Kathy?
And Dee Dee was not.
Kathy. No, her name is Christy. Name is Christy. It's not Kathy. Okay. Oh, wait till you hear what Gypsy's baby's name is to them. Yeah, they got a new name for Aurora too. Yeah.
Not too happy with this, but she had bigger things to worry about, right? At the time, Gypsy Rose was diagnosed with strabismus, which is a condition where one or both eyes don't align properly. And over time, it can cause the brain to ignore signals from the weaker eye, prevent double vision. I feel like this is like semi-common. I know multiple.
Don't worry if this is hard to listen to. I'm correcting them. Don't worry. We're correcting them.
Children who've had this and have had to have either like corrective surgeries or like wear the eye patch. Like there's a bunch of different things that kids do. So there's treatment that's needed, but this isn't like a crazy rare diagnosis, but still concerning as a parent. Like you want to help your child. Also, this condition, if you leave it untreated or like you don't do proper care, it can lead to partial or total blindness.
Yes, that's correct. But Dee Dee didn't let it lead to total blindness, did she?
But if it is caught early, it can be treated with glasses or therapy. But in more serious cases like Gypsy's, surgery is required. So at 11 months old, Gypsy had to undergo surgery to fix this condition.
And now this is one of those situations where this is a very real and confirmed by doctors diagnosis. So at
Thank you for clarifying that. This is real. The other stuff wasn't real. This is real.
11 months old, she has to go under the knife. But it's also the turning point, I think, in this story because
okay, this is the turning point. Get ready for it.
It becomes a very pivotal moment. While Gypsy Rose is in surgery under the knife, everyone is coming to Dee Dee's aid.
Well, okay, where does this story come from? What do you mean when Gypsy Rose is under the knife, everyone is coming to Dee Dee's aid and this is the turning point? I have never heard this story. Where does this come from?
Keep in mind, there's a lot of things and a lot of stressful things happening in Dee Dee's life that at this moment, getting all of this attention must have felt so good.
Oh my
God.
God.
Almost like, oh, finally someone's taking care of me.
Yeah.
All the doctors are coming up to her, asking if she had eaten. The family, nurses, and the community are all gathering around Dee Dee, showering her in attention. Obviously, we can't confirm. We can't go back in time in the time machine to confirm that this is the moment that shifted everything. But psychologically speaking, it does seem like it's the moment that planted the idea in her subconscious that while her daughter was under medical distress, people would shower her, Dee Dee, with attention and affection.
Oh, no. How can you say that? How do you know? Where do you get that from? Like I said, I say opinions too. You know what I mean? Like, because this happened, then maybe this is why she felt this way. I've done that. We all do it. It's part of discussing things. But this is like making up stuff, right? I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just in a bad mood today. But to me, it's like, this is making up stuff, right? I don't know. Yes, frustrating. Yes.
Right. If she was aware of that or not, just thinking back to her childhood and the way that her mom had interacted with her, like this feels like such a like zap where suddenly all the like warm feelings come back. And she doesn't know why she's addicted to something, but she is. Yes.
What?
So thankfully the surgery did go well and Dee Dee and Gypsy Rose were able to go home. But when they got home, Dee Dee's family noticed that there was a change. Sure, Dee Dee had always been a little bit overbearing, but now Dee Dee was watching over Gypsy Rose like a hawk. Like she was so ultra concerned about her welfare and that something was going to go wrong. And she began taking Gypsy Rose to the doctor all the time.
And sure, it was a lot, but
I don't remember this either.
It wasn't too concerning to people. Like, yes, it raised a little bit of like alarm bells and people were aware of it, but Dee Dee was a nurse. They thought, like all the family members thought Dee Dee knew better than they would. And second, her daughter did just undergo surgery. So people could empathize with Dee Dee for being concerned. And like a lot of first-time moms, like it's normal to be anxious and to be concerned and want to seek a doctor's guidance.
Yeah. Well, and I'll say from personal experience, it was like kind of a little bit hard revisiting this case a little bit because my son Noah, when he hit 3 months, was when some medical stuff started happening. And we were like staying for a week in the hospital and bringing him to a ton of specialists and no one had an answer. And it was like back and forth. And in those moments, I remember like, because they would bring in social workers and all that and like ask you questions about your home and everything. And I kept thinking like, am I making this up? Like, is he actually fine? And do I have Munchausen's? Like, it was actually a thought that came into my own mind. But like, I guess in defense of Dee Dee in this moment, my son was seen by so many different doctors and specialists and all of these different people. And now that he's almost 2 years old, after we kind of like gave up trying to like figure out like some of the things that were happening, have people suddenly discovered answers. And it's like, how was this missed by that many people?
Right.
So it's like, I understand like a mom.
Yes, I'm going to tell you guys, they do not talk about Gypsy having a microdeletion, yet this woman is describing her own personal experience of having a child where they couldn't figure out what the disorder was and how she was having to be seen by so many specialists and social workers, and her life was under exam. But yet they do not talk about Gypsy ever being diagnosed with a chromosomal disorder. It is mind-blowing. It is mind-blowing to me. They missed it. They missed that. How do you miss that part of the story?
I'm trying to continue to find the answer because you're like, no, I know something's wrong.
Right. But it's that
just because
fine
you
line.
don't think it is, you don't see them at home. You don't see this happening.
Yeah.
Like you're seeing me being the one in distress more than the child, which is why you think they're fine.
But I also think someone like Dee Dee's not questioning, do I have Munchausen's?
Am I?
No, because she didn't. That's why she didn't question it, because Gypsy actually was ill. Oh my God.
Making this up?
Yeah.
Let me tell you, we had plenty of family coming and supporting us throughout the whole
Yeah.
thing. And I was like, I can't wait for
get on with
because I don't want to go through this. Like,
Get on with
I
it.
wasn't asking for, I didn't want that.
Yeah.
Anyway, Dee Dee continued to take Gypsy Rose to the doctor to get various concerns checked out. And despite not being a constant fixture in her life, Rod, Dee Dee's father, was concerned for his daughter's well-being.
Yeah.
So when Gypsy was about a year old, he asked Dee Dee what was causing all of these health issues, and Dee Dee reportedly told him that Gypsy had a chromosomal disorder. And Rod was really alarmed because he'd never heard of this, and he didn't really have like a clue as to what this meant. Dee Dee had the medical background, right? So according to her, it meant that Gypsy was not developing normally, and this would basically affect everything in her life. So as other kids were progressing normally, she would have a lot more troubles. It would affect her hearing, it would affect her digestive system.
And I think this is a big part of it, is so many other people in their lives didn't understand these things. And because Dee Dee spoke with such confidence about the medical stuff, they're
Look, I can't make this up, right? I cannot make this up. They are talking about, they're claiming that Dee Dee lied about the chromosomal disorder. They're saying she lied about it. Someone help them, okay? I got to this part and I was like, I hope I'm not like stressing you guys out in chat. I hope you guys can laugh about this. You have to laugh about this, okay? You have to laugh about this. Okay. I really have no word. I really am speechless. Yes, Dee Dee told Rod Gypsy had a chromosome disorder, but you know what? She had that medical background, so everyone just believed her that she did. Oh, but she did. Okay. Wait till they find out. Yeah, it's not going to be a good day.
like, oh, she must be talking to doctors. And she also has this background. Like,
Right, she already knows.
they believed that she was being diagnosed.
Yeah.
Even though Dee Dee, as far as we know, was just coming up with these conditions.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. Okay. Just in case they do watch this, yes, she was diagnosed. No, that's not it. Where is the diagnosis? I have the diagnosis somewhere. Here it is. Here's the diagnosis. There it is. Just so they know, I'm not making it up. She was diagnosed with a microdeletion. Okay. Going to get into more of that. It's why she had you guys know why. Let's move on. Let's go on with this. Let's go on because it's just going to get a little crazier here. They're going to get a little bit more crazy.
So Rod had no reason to not take Dee Dee's word for it. He trusted her, that Dee Dee was taking care of their daughter. And from his perspective, she was taking Gypsy Rose to the doctor often, which insinuated that, yes, Dee Dee was taking good care of their child.
Yeah.
And also this diagnosis, at least when Gypsy Rose was young, it didn't seem to hold her back from having a normal childhood.
Mm-hmm.
So she would still play with her cousins, play outside, spend a ton of time with her grandpa Claude. She'd go fishing. She'd ride with him on his motorcycle. Like, she was having a pretty normal childhood.
Until she was around 5 years old.
Oh, here we
According
go.
to Dee Dee, when Gypsy was around 5 years old in 1996, Gypsy Rose had somehow fallen off of Claude's motorcycle and scraped her leg. And this is a small scrape. Like, everyone.
I don't know what year the motorcycle accident was, but they're going to go on to say that Dee Dee put Gypsy in the wheelchair at 5 years old. Gypsy doesn't even say that in her memoir. Gypsy says 8 years old. So where did they get 5 years old? I mean, I know it's these little things, but it's just mind blowing. They're a true crime podcast. Okay. Get your timeline straight.
Saw it. It was not too concerning.
Superficial.
Yeah. Dee Dee wasn't even concerned. She cleaned it up, bandaged it. But within like days, all of a sudden that bandage turned into a knee brace. And Dee Dee reportedly began telling people, family and friends, that Gypsy was having muscular problems, which evolved into Dee Dee telling people that Gypsy Rose had muscular dystrophy, which is a disease that causes skeletal muscles to break down and weaken over time.
That is not how muscular dystrophy came up into this case. It's not why they thought that. It's not why Dee Dee talked about muscular dystrophy. It's because when Gypsy was born with this chromosome issue, and of course we know that they didn't know about the chromosome, what the true disease was until 2008. It wasn't discovered until 2008. Well, muscular dystrophy is a chromosome-related disorder. It's a very big one. A lot of people have it. And so doctors, I'm assuming, mentioned to Dee Dee, you know what, we probably should test for muscular dystrophy because of the microcephaly and the other chromosome-related symptoms Gypsy was manifesting. Does that make sense? To them, they're saying Dee Dee came up with muscular dystrophy on her own because they don't know Gypsy has a true chromosome disorder, and it came and sprang from the motorcycle accident. I don't know where they got that from. That's just wild. Okay.
Often affecting the legs and pelvis first. And this is a incurable diagnosis.
It's also just so wild because it's not like someone falls off of a bike and 2 days later they get this diagnosis. Like there's so much testing.
Well, I was reading about it, and there are people who will like get a scrape that seems superficial.
The timing is even off for this. I don't think the muscular dystrophy test was done until 2001. They're saying 1996. Okay.
And then it like evolves so drastically because they have muscular dystrophy. So
what?
She's using real science and medical information.
Do they get a diagnosis that quickly though?
I mean, there's testing and stuff.
Yeah.
Dee Dee's telling everyone that she has been diagnosed with it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Dee Dee claimed to have taken Gypsy to doctors. Again, there's no medical record to back this up, and claimed that what started as the scraped knee revealed muscular dystrophy, and it was progressing really fast. So before everyone knew it, Gypsy Rose was in a wheelchair, 5 years old. And we already made this very clear.
No, she wasn't in a wheelchair.
Despite Dee Dee's persistence and reports, Gypsy Rose did not have muscular dystrophy, but everyone believed it. Until Dee Dee's murder, everyone believed all of this medical information. At just 5 years old, Gypsy Rose's mother, Dee Dee, had told her that she had to use a wheelchair. And also would like, Gypsy Rose is a 5-year-old. If she knows that she could walk, she would like run around and stuff. But then Dee Dee would kind of like manipulate her, give her the silent treatment if she didn't do what she said.
Okay, I'm just going to pause here. I'm not going to play it because you guys know it. You guys know about Gypsy's video telling Nick how she got in the wheelchair, right? Yes, that she was the one that was feigning that she couldn't walk, and she was scared to tell her mother she could walk. Okay, so we know that. So obviously these women have not even looked at any of the videos that just came out a few months ago.
So Gypsy learned very quickly to do what her mother told her. And at first, Gypsy enjoyed the wheelchair. She was like, oh, this is a fun new toy. She learned how to do tricks on it and like wheelies and stuff. But again, she was 5 years old. 5-year-olds love to run around. They love to play. And in 1996, Dee Dee and Gypsy Rose were at a family birthday party. And Dee Dee wheeled Gypsy outside. And she was like, I need to go run out and do something. Stay here. Do not leave your chair.
All right, I'm going to fast forward a little bit. This is the trampoline story.
And for a certain amount of time. It's just...
Which is exactly what Dee Dee will say.
Yeah.
But as you can imagine, Dee Dee gets back from her little errand that she had done, and she sees
than a normal kid.
And again, I'll emphasize, Dee Dee had medical knowledge and had told everyone that this is a doctor-given medical diagnosis. People don't have any other reason to question it.
Right. Except one of Dee Dee's sisters who was at the party certainly
I'm going to fast forward.
And he's hardly around, so kind of like that guilt, her condition just like being worse. Like she'd have a worse day. It wasn't worth it.
Yeah.
Rod did believe her because he had no reason not to, right? And also, even if he didn't, he felt kind of weird about it and didn't really feel like it was his place to criticize her.
Now they know how Rod feels.
In a way, he kind of abandoned her to be a single mother and care for this child who is having so many medical abnormalities. And
yeah, Rod was with Kathy, that Kathy woman. I mean, we all know that.
Difficulties, and he's hardly around. So kind of like that guilt overrode everything that he might have wanted to ask, follow-up questions, and he just kind of let it go.
Yeah.
So again, no one intervened because they didn't think that anything was wrong. About a year after this incident in 1997, Dee Dee's life was rocked when her mother, Emma, was diagnosed with an illness that moved very quickly. By June of 1997, Emma died. She was only 59 years old. And this sent Dee Dee into a tailspin, losing her mother.
Yeah.
After the funeral, she took Gypsy and she left. No one knew where they went or why.
Until a few weeks later when it became clear because Dee Dee was on the run from the law.
What? Okay. Again. There is no indication Dee Dee was on the run, like throwing her bags in her car. Get in the car, Gypsy. The police is coming. We got to get out of here now. What is this? What is this? Now she's on the run from the law? Are you kidding me? What? Look at that woman's face. I paused it right there. Yep. It's like, yes, it's that dumb. No, she was not on the run from the law, but let them continue because actually this has now become a comedy podcast. Yes.
Apparently she was wanted for writing bad checks. And I don't really know like how this all panned out, but she was.
And you know how the police are about those bad checks. They will hunt you down. They will call the marshals. They will call a manhunt. They'll have drones in the air, helicopters in the air. They're not going to stop until they track down you wrote a bad check and you will go to prison for life. I mean, are these people for real?
Apparently wanted and looking at prison time and a hefty fine. But instead of taking responsibility, she took
prison time. No, there was no prison time on the table. No.
Gypsy Rose and hightailed it out of town.
No.
They bounced around from place to place for a while, sometimes staying in public housing or shelters. And to get by, Dee Dee had taken her mother's credit cards, her deceased mother's credit cards. And
I never heard this
which
either.
Only added to the financial crimes that she was already wanted for. During this time, as they're moving around.
The financial crimes. The financial crimes. Like she ran some CEO running some big company and she's wanted for financial crimes, you know.
Bouncing around, Rod was trying to do his best to keep track of them so he could see Gypsy, but Dee Dee kept moving.
Rod's like, Dee Dee's on the run, damn it. The cops are all over me. They're staking out my house thinking Dee Dee's going to come by.
Moving them further and further away. And now this is when Dee Dee really starts to isolate Gypsy Rose. Not only like physically, but mentally too. When Gypsy Rose would ask about her dad and why she didn't see him much, Dee Dee told her that he was an alcoholic. Dee Dee told Gypsy Rose that Rod actually left them because Gypsy Rose wasn't the son he'd always wanted. I know. So psychologically, this is establishing two things. It put all of this blame and guilt onto Gypsy, onto a child, that she wasn't enough, that no one wanted her except her mother. And this also established that the only person Gypsy Rose could rely on was, in fact, her mother, Dee Dee.
You know what? I know there's some reports that Dee Dee did tell people Rod was an alcoholic and he was a piece of shit and yada, yada, yada. But he did kind of abandon her. You know what I mean? I mean, alcoholic, I don't know, probably not. But I mean, the way these women are talking, Dee Dee's on the run for financial crimes. You know, SWAT's looking for her. You know, she's in disguises, you know, rolling around, Louisiana up and down the highway. And, I mean, it's just, okay.
To make it very clear, Rod was not an alcoholic, nor did he ever claim to leave because
you make that clear, girl.
Of Gypsy Rose. Both of those were lies, but there was no one around to tell Gypsy otherwise. So slowly but surely, Dee Dee continued to isolate Gypsy Rose from the rest of her family. And before long, and also understandably, Gypsy believed.
Can I tell you guys something? Here, let's talk about this bouncing around. Okay. I'm pretty sure this is what happened. I don't know this for fact, but we're going to look at Dee Dee's addresses real quick and just put to bed some of these rumors here. Okay. All right. So after she left the dad's house, and I think it's because the dad, Claude, got married to Laura May and they didn't like each other, right? Because the mom dies in 97, but Dee Dee doesn't leave until 98. Where is she at? She's still in Golden Meadow. She didn't go on the run from the law. She's still in the same city. So, I mean, we know that was stupid. The financial crimes and all that is dumb, okay? And so, yeah, she didn't have money. So at that point, she is looking for Section 8 housing. She's in Golden Meadow until 1999. And then she moves to Thibodeau, okay, which is a little while away. But it's not like she moved a ton of times or that she was poor. She was on Section 8 and she was doing the best she could. But there was no like fleeing the county. There was no fleeing the county. She was still in Golden Meadow, okay, for a couple of years. So, what can we say? What can we say?
These lies and believed that her mother was the only person she could count on, which meant that Gypsy Rose would do almost anything to make her mother happy. And in this relationship dynamic, it essentially meant doing anything and everything that Dee Dee told her to do.
After moving around for a few years, Dee Dee and Gypsy Rose finally settled down in 1999, taking up residency in New Orleans.
No, they didn't go to New Orleans in 1999. They were in Slidell later, which is like a suburb of New Orleans. But it doesn't matter.
Gypsy Rose was now 8 years
another
old.
thing
She's
they get
completely
wrong.
wheelchair bound, at least in public anyway. And they began to build community here. It was hard not to fall in love with these two, right?
Mm-hmm.
So from the outside, Dee Dee was this incredible single mother, selfless, devoted to her daughter. Gypsy Rose was this cute little petite young girl who, despite her medical conditions, always had a smile on her face. She was a ray of sunshine. Of course you would want to be friends with them.
Always
They're so
wearing
great.
princess outfit.
I want to know where Kathy is, though. Is Rod and Kathy?
It's
right.
Like all the interviews and videos that you can watch of that time, she really is like this bright, happy child.
Yes. Yeah, God, I remember watching them live.
I can hear it.
Mm-hmm. It was around this time that Dee Dee informed family and friends that Gypsy Rose had been diagnosed with leukemia.
Somebody get
Another
Kathy,
diagnosis.
right.
Yeah. She called Rod and his now wife, Christy, to share the news.
Oh, she's calling her Christy. Okay, she got it right. Okay. Kathy is gone. Rod broke up with Kathy. Kathy's out. I'd love to interview Kathy. If any of you know Kathy, tell her, give me a call. I want to talk to her. But now he's with Christy. Okay, good to know. Good to know. See, I didn't know about Kathy. So that was interesting.
They were understandably heartbroken. And Gypsy had already been through so much. They could not believe that on top of this, now she's suffering from cancer too. Dee Dee's entire extended family was devastated as well. But some of them did have some doubt.
Wait till you hear what they call Aurora. You guys are gonna die laughing.
Doubts.
This is the hard thing, is that throughout this case, I mean, the people who've expressed doubts have expressed it after the fact and been like, yeah, it was a little weird, but it was easy to write off.
Right.
Or easy to excuse or explain away.
And I guess from Gypsy Rose's perspective, when we get to what will eventually happen, she is witnessing years and years and years of other adults not intervening or helping her. Can't trust anyone else.
Well, also she believes it.
Yeah. To an
What?
extent.
To an extent. Yes. She's a child. She literally had no other way of knowing.
No. Okay, so here's the thing. Dee Dee and Gypsy Rose, they are not living near family anymore, right? So they're in New Orleans. There's a little bit of distance between them and family members. So no one could really challenge what's going on here. Dee Dee reported multiple doctor visits. And when they did see Gypsy, she certainly looked like she had cancer.
What? How did we get to cancer all of a sudden? Okay.
Her head was shaved. She looked frail. She was exhibiting.
Because she was ill. She had feeding aversion. She wasn't eating appropriately. You know what I mean? She had difficulty swallowing. She was pretty ill. Yeah.
Side effects of chemotherapy protocols.
What?
So, yeah, she appeared to be a child with leukemia.
In truth, oh my God.
No, she was child with microdeletion.
It was so disturbing. Dee Dee had actually gained access to various medicines over the years.
What? What fresh hell is this?
And was basically able to make a concoction that made Gypsy Rose nauseous, gave her the side effects of cancer treatment. She told Gypsy Rose that she was giving her cancer medications and chemotherapy at home. And she convinced Gypsy Rose, who again is still a child, she tells Gypsy Rose, we have to shave your head because the medicine's going to make your hair fall out anyways. This is a part of the process. We're going to shave your head so you don't have to go through the trauma of all the clumps of hair falling.
Okay. They said that Dee Dee was making a drug concoction? Okay. No, I don't know where they got that from, or I have seen no indication of that Dee Dee had any drugs to make a concoction with. I have all the list of drugs that Gypsy was on, even from the medicine closet. I've gone over them numerous times. There's nothing there. Let's just really quick, because they might watch this. Really quick. Okay. She had a big medicine closet. This is a list of everything in her medicine closet from Missouri, anyways. Okay. And you would think she'd have a lot more, but it basically was antibiotics, seizure meds, inhalers, acne med, and steroids. Now, according to Dee Dee, at one time, this is Dee Dee, here's a list of Gypsy's drugs that she was actually prescribed. Seizure medication, Zantac, that's for your stomach acid. Gypsy had GERD, right? She had acid reflux, right? Then she's got the eardrops, right? Gypsy had a lot of ear infections. Then she's got an inhaler, okay? Then she's got some Valium, another inhaler, lactulose for the stomach, okay? And another inhaler. What kind of a you cannot make any kind of a drug concoction with inhalers and stomach medicine that's going to make anyone look like they have cancer. I don't understand where these stories come from, but they're myths. It's ridiculous. All right, back to the show.
Gypsy Rose is 8 years old. 8 years old. Yeah. Her mother's her entire world. She had no reason to doubt her. She believed she was sick, just like her mother said.
Because she was.
But she had no idea the extent of the abuse. No one did. And I think everyone looking back is like, how in the world was Dee Dee able to get away with this, especially in the medical sense, because she was constantly taking Gypsy Rose to the doctors.
Right. You would think that.
Kind of like the other woman talked about constantly taking her son or daughter to the doctor because they didn't know what was wrong with her son or daughter. And all these specialists and the social workers and the people coming out to the house. Yeah, that's what happens when you don't know what's wrong with a kid and they've got all these symptoms and the doctors can't nail it down. They don't know what's wrong.
A doctor would say something.
And sleep apnea was one thing, right? Where you can kind of take Dee Dee's word for it in her describing her infant's medical conditions and issues. But cancer is very easy to test for. How did they not catch on? Well, that's because.
Okay, I'm gonna talk about the cancer real quick. Okay, look, there's nothing in the medical records that I've seen. There's no here is the blood test. Here is the bone marrow aspiration confirming the leukemia. Okay. I'm kind of doing a deep dive into that right now because I know a lot of people think possibly she had it and a lot of people are not sure. I am on the not sure fence because I like to see the proof of it. You know what I mean? So I don't think that leukemia was mentioned until they got to Missouri. I don't know that for a fact. But anyways, I just wanted to put that out there right now and let them go on with this cancer thing.
Because Dee Dee did not tell doctors that Gypsy Rose had cancer. She was very, very careful.
What?
She knew it, which again, makes it very clear she knew what she was doing. She would basically take Gypsy Rose to different doctors for different things and get different medications.
There is nothing. Dee Dee did not doctor shop. Okay. Let's put that to bed right now. Okay. Hold on. Because I know exactly where Gypsy went to the doctor. I don't have the first years of her life, but I know where she went in Louisiana and I know where she went in Missouri. Basically in Louisiana, she went to Tulane and Children's Hospital. That was it. Okay, just 2 locations. And in Missouri, the same thing. Children's Mercy and what was the other one in Children's Mercy and Mercy St. John's, I think. Let me find it really quick. The doctor shopping. Is this it? Yeah, okay. So down here at the bottom, 2000 to 205, Dee Dee goes to 2 hospitals, Tulane and Children's. From 2005, when she gets to Missouri, 2005 to 2015, St. John's Mercy and Children's, unless it's an ER visit due to distance and she uses Cox, okay? There were no changing of doctors. There was, and I'm not going to go into the long explanation of that, but I have done a deep dive into that, and there is no truth that Dee Dee did any doctor shopping, nor did she change any doctors at all. Okay. She didn't do it. I would tell you if she did, and she didn't. Okay. Let's go on.
So she would make medical claims for things that were harder to prove, like claiming that Gypsy Rose suffered from seizures. She would tell another doctor that Gypsy had asthma or anemia or heart problems and developmental delays, that she was having trouble eating. So like she would go to different doctors and get like different things from each.
Where does she get this from? It's just so untrue. It's untrue. She's like making it up out of thin air.
One of them for conditions.
I still want to know where Kathy is though. Because Kathy probably, maybe Kathy knows some stuff and can clear some of this up for us because Kathy was around.
That doctors would take a parent's word for. Also, because this has been going on for all of Gypsy Rose's life, Dee Dee had coached her and conditioned her and groomed her into how to act and how to behave at doctor's appointments. Number one rule was that Gypsy Rose would not speak. Dee Dee always spoke for her, to the point where Gypsy Rose almost zoned out during these various doctor's appointments. So, which also added because Dee Dee would then claim that Gypsy Rose.
Wait, they took the video down? Guys, they took the video down? Oh my God, you're kidding. Oh, wow. See, I screenshot it. Yeah, I knew. I kind of had a feeling I better not just screen. You can screen share. Like I could have just went to their, and I'm like, nope, I better record this. I better record this. So it is? Well, let's go on because they want to know, they're going to want to know the truth, right? I mean, I know I'm being a little bit snarky during this, but really I'm trying to be entertaining and educate, right? At the same time. So let's keep going because maybe they will want to make a new video talking about the truth. That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping enough people like these people, like Michelle Cuervo and these two women, I'm sure they're great people. Yeah, I'm having a little fun at them, but hey, I can't help it, but I'm a nice person and I would love to, get them information and, have them like put out the right stuff because like I said at the beginning of this live, the true story is much more intriguing than the story they're telling. It's much more intriguing. Okay. So, let's keep going, right? Because we want to correct it because you know what I also found that last video I did, because I can kind of tell who watches my video, like they in YouTube in the studio, they can tell you returning visitors or new viewers. That video got more new viewers than a lot of my more recent videos. So that tells me we're getting a lot of new eyes on this. People are interested in seeing this kind of video where, we go through the narrative and I just like take, one by one, show the truth. So let's keep going, right? Let's keep going. Even though they took it down, let's keep going.
Rose was developmentally delayed.
Maybe it was Kathy. I don't know.
And so it really did appear that way. There was that one doctor's appointment that Dee Dee even covered Gypsy Rose's ears as she told the doctor she thought Gypsy was mentally, she used the R word, but disabled. She covered her ears and she claimed she was covering Gypsy Rose's ears to not like hurt her feelings or make her feel bad for what she was about to say. But the truth is that she was trying to prevent Gypsy Rose from even understanding what was happening at these doctor's appointments.
It's so messed up. This is like one of those things where part of me wants to be like, okay, well, some people with Munchausen's by proxy and in cases that are similar to this, like they go so deep that they don't even know what they're doing. But it feels, from what we're reading about what Dee Dee did, it feels like a conscious effort every step of the way.
Yeah, and we'll talk about it specifically in a minute, but like this is the hard thing with something that is such a rare but also extreme psychological disorder.
Right.
Should we, now they're talking about Dee Dee having Munchausen's, right?
So Dee Dee insisted that she was homeschooling Gypsy as well.
I think that's what they were saying there.
Well,
hold on.
But in truth,
I'm just going to pause it here because they do bring it up. And I think that they were trying to say that Dee Dee has this rare Munchausen disorder. So I'm going to go ahead and let one of my favorite TikTokers, Ashley Baby, go ahead and set the record straight about the whole Munchausen thing. And she put together this really good little video here that I would love for the new people to see.
She's explaining her microdeletion. In part of this video, she claims that her mother used her microdeletion as like a blueprint for her symptoms. The problem is the first case of the microdeletion.
This is about both things. It's about the microdeletion and about how people claim Dee Dee, the old narrative that Dee Dee had Munchausen. And anyways, it addresses both issues really good.
1Q2 1.1 wasn't even found till 2008. So before then, they had no idea about 1Q2 1.1. So there was no way for her mother to be looking up specific symptoms for this microdeletion and say, okay, let's induce them. There was no way. In 2008, Miss Rose would have been about 17 years old. These are our list of the symptoms of that specific microdeletion. She's admitted to the small head and the eye issues down there at the very bottom, the facial features. But if we can't see it, she denies it. But I think people are starting to see how her medical records line up with the symptoms from the microdeletion. She even mentions in the video, like the epilepsy, if she doesn't have it today, then she didn't have it at all. But if you look up her microdeletion, it clearly says some individuals may experience a lessening of symptoms over time, especially with early intervention. And the thing is, Dee Dee may have been malingering and embellishing the symptoms to the public, but Miss Rose was willingly lying to the doctors about her symptoms all on her own. She moves her arms with questionable difficulty against gravity. And it talks about when they tried for sensation testing, including vibration, she would not give correct answers. Again, even in this one, it talks about how Miss Rose said she had no feeling in her lower extremities. But anyway, point being, that the first case of this microdeletion wasn't found until 2008. How was Dee Dee coming up with these symptoms that would line up correctly with 1Q2 1.1? I don't know. Anyway, this is all for entertainment purposes. Bye.
All right, I love Ashley, baby. So okay, let's get back to the video.
Teaching her entirely. There was no homeschooling going on.
So much child abuse. It's so sad.
Yeah. So
Oh my
Gypsy had
God.
only been taught up to a second grade level for education. And
But she can read Lord of the Rings.
she really was mentally delayed because of this, because that is how Dee Dee wanted it, right? Like, so she wasn't given access to advance in the way that a lot of kids can.
Mm-hmm.
Additionally, she would infantilize Gypsy Rose, dressing her in princess costumes and wigs. And Gypsy even sounded a lot younger than she was.
She still does.
She has a very high-pitched young voice. So at the time, it was very high-pitched, very childish. And now this can happen when there is more of like a developmental arrest due to trauma, learned infantilization. Both are true in this case. But to doctors, it just reiterated Dee Dee's claims of mental disorders. So there's so much going on here.
So much.
And Dee Dee is very deliberate in shaping Gypsy Rose's identity and the medical narrative around her and what everyone believed. And tragically, her success in this meant that she was able to continue with this abuse. Doctors agreed to
Oh my God, calling it abuse.
put Gypsy Rose on anti-seizure medication. And they gave her a medicine to help her breathe at night. She was also given prescriptions for anemia, asthma, allergies, and an alleged heart murmur.
So now
She got no medication for the heart murmur. They worked that up. Just look, she didn't get any medication for a heart murmur.
this story and the abuse is already unbelievable and horrific. And unfortunately, it gets worse. Like if you think it's bad, it actually gets worse. But I think it's very clear to us as outsiders who have the privilege to share the story after the fact that Dee Dee Blanchard was very clearly suffering from some mental illness. And it is a very clear case of, if not the most famous case of Munchausen by proxy, which we've kind of referenced multiple times throughout this episode. But Dee Dee Blanchard was never officially given a diagnosis. And even though she wasn't, it's pretty clear that that's what's happening here.
Okay, so just so for them to know, maybe they're watching right now. They might be watching right now. I hope they are, because do a new video. It'll get a lot of views if you do a video and bring out the truth. But here's what really happened, okay? After Gypsy was arrested, this whole thing about Munchausen didn't come out. It was a narrative that was put out by Gypsy's lawyer. Now, when it first came out, there were two forensic psychologists who weighed in on it. One was Dr. Ann Roast. She was the head of the psychology department at Missouri State University. She basically poo-pawed the idea that Dee Dee had Munchausen. Quote, while some of Dee Dee Blanchard's action may seem like Munchausen, Rose said her behavior doesn't fit the bill for the disease. For Munchausen to be present, we say there cannot be monetary gain involved. The other possible option for this is malingering, and malingering is just when someone intentionally creates symptoms to gain something. Now listen, understand, Dr. Ann Roast is commenting the same week Gypsy is arrested. So what she basically thinks is that Gypsy was healthy. Okay. Dr. Ann Roast is talking as if Gypsy was healthy. And she's assuming that some of these disorders that Gypsy had, that it was like the malingering, right? That Dee Dee was making them up. Okay. But here's the point to all that. Still, even though Dr. Ann Roast didn't know about the microdeletion, she still said Dee Dee doesn't fit the bill for Munchausen by proxy. Okay. Now, you guys probably know who Dr. Mark Feldman is, but here's the thing about Feldman. And I've told you guys this before. This is from, again, the week that Gypsy's arrested. No one knows she has the microdeletion. And Feldman, when he's contacted at first about this case, he says, look, at first, I didn't think that it was Munchausen because I thought that she was actually ill. And she was. So here's the point. If Dr. Feldman would have been told that first week, oh, yeah, actually, we found out in the medical records, yeah, the girl actually has a chromosomal disorder. Immediately, Dr. Feldman would have said, okay, well, it's not Munchausen then. Do you see my point? Okay. So these are two pretty big forensic psychologists who both, in different ways, say Dee Dee never fit the bill for Munchausen. And that is without them knowing that Gypsy had the microdeletion. Imagine if they both knew she had the microdeletion. They would have said, nope, sorry, doesn't fit the bill. Okay. So I just wanted either Michelle Cuervo, who I did a video on a couple nights ago, or these lovely ladies from, what is it called? What is their show called? Crime House. Are the lovely women from Crime House, if you're watching. Yeah, this narrative of Dee Dee, I know it's shocking. It was shocking when we all learned it too. This narrative of Dee Dee having Munchausen was born from Gypsy's attorneys and from Kathy Christie and those people who were working on Gypsy's case. And it's a long story, but it basically, because Gypsy could walk, people were shocked. And then they thought everything was made up. Okay, it's a long story, but trust me, okay? She has a chromosomal disorder. She's confirmed it. And Dee Dee didn't have Munchausen. And there's lots of reasons why she didn't have Munchausen. And don't take it from me. Take it from these forensic psychologists I just showed you who agreed that she doesn't fit the criteria. Feldman finally said, because he thought Gypsy was healthy, that Dee Dee then fit the criteria. So he based his diagnosis on false information. That's the key right there with Feldman. All right, let's go on. And just a few more minutes of this, and then we'll take a time out and get to some more comments. Boy, we worked fast on this one. That video's down. Good job, guys. Good job.
Can't formally diagnose someone posthumously. Also, fun fact that I just learned in prepping for this episode, Munchausen by proxy is now called factitious disorder imposed upon another,
okay,
FDIA.
All right, I'm going to fast forward a little bit.
It is absolutely a form of abuse, and in this case,
which for another project that I'd worked on, I had to speak to some victims of Munchausen by proxy and some like advocacy.
All right.
Also, this condition is incredibly difficult to diagnose. So compared to factitious disorder, these exact signs of FDIA are the exact
surgery.
Oh, yeah.
This is not something doctors do. They don't
here we go.
Community that Gypsy Rose had leukemia. Dee Dee convinced doctors to give Gypsy Rose a feeding tube. And I think it's really important to point out that this is a very invasive surgery.
Oh, yeah.
This is not something doctors do. They don't want to do it. It's like a last case resort.
No, usually
Okay, real quick. So they're going to make the case that Gypsy didn't need the feeding tube, they just said Dee Dee convinced doctors to give her the feeding tube. Of course, we know that's not true. We've gone over this many times, but again, for the new people, we want to explain to them why Gypsy got the feeding tube real quick. All right. Now, Gypsy has this microdeletion. Basically, it affected mostly her digestive tract, okay, which starts in your mouth. Gypsy has a very high palate. She had difficulty swallowing, and she had a feeding aversion. So what happened? Yeah, that's why you were talking about how she looked so sickly. You were correct about that. She did look sickly in her like 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. Yes. And she only weighed 36 pounds when she was around 7 or 8 years old. Okay. Super underweight. And so they're like, my God, we need to put her in what's called a feeding hospital. It is a special unit within a big hospital, multidisciplinary team, lots of doctors, nurse practitioners, dietitians, nutritionists, neurologists, internal medicine doctors, all working on Gypsy for a month. She was in a feeding hospital. They tried to do everything they could before they placed the feeding tube. And here's the note. Here is from the medical records, the note about that. Prior to the PEG placement, that's the G tube, Gypsy had undergone intensive evaluation and attempted treatment for her feeding aversions by the feeding hospital. She was not able to consume enough calories by mouth to ensure her survival. And that is why they placed the feeding tube. It had nothing to do with anything Dee Dee said. It had everything to do with confirmed symptoms and a confirmed workup they did in the hospital over a month for Gypsy. So no, you were sold lies like the rest of us. You're just late getting to the party. That's all. You're just late getting to the party, finding out all this crazy stuff, that what you were sold were all lies. It is shocking. We're not shocked anymore by it. We've been here 2 years doing it. But I understand watching this. You just made a whole video about Gypsy Rose for your very professional looking setup. Looks like really you guys are serious at doing this. And I understand this has got to be a blow, because how come you guys didn't find this? Well, because this narrative has been out for 2 years. And while a lot of us have been talking about this for 2 years, there's still like the majority of the public that don't know the truth. And if we got to do one podcast at a time, we'll do it. It's worth it to get the truth out. So, okay, just a little bit more of their, and then we'll take a time out in a minute.
First thing that if they have to do it, they try to do just the tube before doing the actual surgical implant to provide feeding straight into the stomach.
And I think it's important to remember, but at this point, Dee Dee had been giving Gypsy Rose who knows what combination of medications that were physically causing her to lose weight and to...
What? There was nothing. No. Okay. There was nothing prescribed to Gypsy to help her lose weight. Okay. I don't know.
Be nauseous and not be able to.
And we're going to show how Gypsy swallows. We're going to show all that after the break. We're going to show them how she swallows and her tongue thrust and her high palate. And yeah. Okay. Let me go ahead and take a break here for a minute. And just so you guys know, I'm going to have to do a little housekeeping here. After I see some of your comments, I'm going to have to, because there's so many videos and so many stuff, I'm going to have to take like a 2-minute little timeout like I did last time to upload more videos so we can, help these people learn the truth. I think it's super important that they learn the truth. Okay, let me get to some more of your videos. I can't believe I'm just shocked that so quickly. How did they find out so quickly? Wow. All right. Let's go back to your comments here. Okay, guys. We got Lucky One 122 $1.99 super sticker. Thank you so much for being here, Lucky One. And we got Summer Puzzles, who became a YouTube member. Congrats. Thank you. And we got the Prison Nurse, $1.99. Thank you, Prison Nurse. Appreciate that super sticker. Taminator 615, $2. Watch that psychopath spiraling in real time. Yeah, and I think it's getting worse and worse because we're going to go after every little true crime podcast that wants to put out misinformation. I'll be on their neck. Don't worry about it. And next up, we got Delphi Hayes, 5 pounds. The Blanchards are the result of replacing brains with cupcake mix. Thank you, Delphi Hayes. I love it. Next up, we got Cynthia Shockey, 204, $20 super sticker. Thank you, Cynthia. Thank you so much. And I was going to say something else to you, but I don't know if I can say that. All right, Michelle Furler, 3048, $5 super sticker. Thank you, Michelle. Really appreciated, Michelle. Thank you. Jill B, 3072, member for 7 months. Thanks for keeping this community full of knowledge. That is factual truth. You're welcome, Jill B. And thank you for being here and supporting it. And we got Irate Unicorn, one of my favorites, $1.99 super sticker. Thank you, Irate Unicorn. That's appreciated. And Janine 56, member for 1 month, one of our newbies. We all love, adore, and worship you, Becca. I love and adore and worship you guys back. You know I do. And next up, we got Estiana 76, £4.99. All those high viewers mean is that she'll use Aurora more and more. Yeah, the 5 million views. You're right, Estiana. She's an absolute joke. Love you, Becca, and chat from Scotland. So glad you're here. It's late in Scotland, but thank you for being here. Estiana, you're always so fun to, your comments are always so fun. Nurse in Memphis gifted one Becca Scoops membership. Thank you so much. Nurse in Memphis. Thank you. And we got Diana. Diana's in the chat, you guys. This is Diana, who we were giving updates from. She emailed me today. She's still coming along, doing okay. She says, let the train steam ahead. We are ready for the mainstream media. Let's do this. Thank you all. Diana, so happy to see you back in chat and doing well. We missed you, so great to see you here. And next up, Susan Ryan, one of my mods. OG super sticker. Thank you, Susan. Thank you so much. McCatherine, member for 5 months, one of our favorites. My daughter had the same eye surgery, 2 hours outpatient. Wow, I didn't know that, McCatherine. Really? Wow, okay, nice to know. At S31, MA90, $2. Or was Kathy also there? Yeah, Kathy was there. Now Kathy, like, we can't discount Kathy. She's got a role to play. And but Rod kicked her out and then went for Christy, I guess. But Kathy's got a story to tell. I bet she does. All right. Next up, we got Gypsy Rose Sexy Ton, one of my favorite real pics of Gypsy, for 99-cent super sticker. Thank you so much. And we got Sharon Howard, 884, $5. So they got Gypsy's medical records dating back to 11 months old. Considering Gypsy claims she doesn't have them, where did they get them from? Yeah. That's my whole question. That's why I was like, what are you guys talking about? None of the medical records, all the medical records indicated she was healthy at birth. I'm like, no, I've never seen any of those medical records, but because I know her disorder, I'm sure they diagnosed the microcephaly at birth. That's pretty no-brainer. All right. Thanks, Sharon. Next up, we got Jessa M, 8338, $5.99 super sticker. We'll just take a couple more and then we're going to take another little 2-minute break while I get the studio ready. We got Jesse Essex coming at dystrophy. Dystrophy. Is that how you say it? Dystrophy. I know, Jesse. You're being snarky, Jesse, but I love it. Thank you, Jesse. And one more. We got the Beach CW, $5. True crime in quotes. I love it. Content creators should really think first. Their credibility will suffer once the truth train gets involved. Thank you for all you do, Becca. Well, the Beach, thank you for being here. Thanks for the $5. I really appreciate it. We're going to end there on the comments, you guys. And we'll be back with the comments towards the end of the live stream. So we're going to go ahead and end there. And I'm going to go ahead. But where am I in this? Hold on. No, you know what? I don't have to take the break yet because just trust me. I have to take the break when I have to. I don't need to explain it. You don't need to know when I need to take the break. We're going to get right back to their video because there is some more funny stuff in their video. Like Aurora's name. It's not Aurora. I know you thought Gypsy's child was named Aurora, but it's not. They're going to tell you what the real name is. You're going to want to wait for that because it's pretty funny. Okay. I don't know. They had issues with names in this. All right, let's get back to them. We gotta let them know. We gotta let them know.
So she had lost so much weight, Gypsy Rose, young Gypsy Rose, 9 years old, that she looked malnourished. She was malnourished.
Yeah.
Which that would prompt doctors to.
Yeah, because she had, okay, let me just stop them here. Let's just get into this, all right, about Gypsy's surgeries. Remember, we have to assume they know nothing. So we I don't want to belabor any of these points because I know you guys know it. But like I said, my last video, debunking that other Michelle Cuervo, half the viewers were new viewers, and that's like a lot for me. Usually it's like maybe 20% or 10%. So 50%, it was like, wow. So people are coming to this. So I want to make sure we stick to this and show the actual truth. All right. So Gypsy's surgeries, just so they know, okay, the things were not random. Dee Dee did not make them happen. And they all follow a pattern with her digestive tract. So she got the feeding tube and the Nissan fundoplication go together. They're always done at the same time. And the Nissan fundoplication is a laparoscopic procedure that's done for the stomach acid, to stop the stomach acid. Okay. So those two things happened at the same time in 2001. And then the next one had to do with her salivary glands, which has to do with her swallowing. And I'll get more into that in a minute when they talk about her salivary gland, because they are mortified by her having salivary gland surgery. And of course, this is besides her eye surgeries. So that's it. So these weren't random procedures. They all had to do with her microdeletion, as you guys know. And so no, Dee Dee didn't convince any doctors to do any surgeries. Okay. So let's get back to them.
Well, and also, like, think about it. If you're malnourished, you're not going to grow normally. You're not going to go through puberty normally. Like, it affects so much, which can go right back to Dee Dee being like, see, she's not developing the same as everyone else. Something is wrong.
Right. So this is one of those conditions, or like her malnutrition and like the need for a feeding tube was prescribed by doctors because of all the symptoms. But it also meant that Gypsy Rose would become even more dependent on the person who was abusing her. Mm-hmm. A feeding tube needed to be cleaned daily. And now that it was inserted in 9-year-old Gypsy Rose, Dee Dee could put anything she wanted into Gypsy's body.
Yep.
Anything.
That whole sick narrative that Dee Dee was putting drugs through Gypsy's G tube. No, it didn't happen.
So disturbing. Shortly after Gypsy Rose got her feeding tube, in 2000, Dee Dee was in a pretty serious car accident. And she and Gypsy Rose were actually both in the car, but Gypsy only suffered minor injuries. Dee Dee, on the other hand, nearly lost her foot in the accident. And for once, Dee Dee was the patient now, right? Like, she was stuck in the hospital to recover, and that meant that Gypsy Rose needed another caregiver. So she went to go live with her grandpa, which was Dee Dee's dad, Claude, the guy with the motorcycle, and his new wife, Laura May. During her stay, Gypsy Rose ate perfectly fine. She would feed herself through her mouth, not using her feeding tube.
Okay, here's another little coinky-dink that people don't understand. Gypsy always ate by mouth. Dee Dee never stopped her. This isn't the Hulu show. This isn't a dramatization. Okay? So how do we know that? Well, why don't we turn to Gypsy's own words? Why don't we take a listen to what Gypsy had to say about foods that she liked to eat? Okay? Here's from Gypsy's Facebook messages. Okay? I'm hungry. I'll fix me some toast, she writes. Another one. I'm going on a new diet, the apple diet. I'm cutting out soda, fries, cake, all junk food. Next one. Had a campfire cookout last night. Yummy. Gumbo tonight. Yeah, this whole lie that you were sold that Dee Dee wouldn't let her eat anything. It's a lie. I don't know if you guys got that from the act or where, but there's Gypsy's own words. She always ate stuff by mouth. Okay. All right.
And Claude definitely questioned this, but he didn't want to meddle. And he was like, okay, well, what do I know? Maybe it's like a combo. I don't know. Mm-hmm. After about 2 months, Dee Dee was released from the hospital and went to go stay with her dad.
I also just think about how those 2 months must have been amazing for Gypsy Rose.
Oh, so freeing.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's also so wild too that like she was just able to just like part of me, like there's like an anxious part of me that was like, wait a second, like he just wasn't prepared to do anything. Like he didn't know how to give her stuff from a feeding tube. Like what if she actually did need it? That part of me is like a little bit panicked.
Well, his new wife worked in the medical field.
Sure.
Yeah.
So for a little while, they got to play their little like happy family and she was free. Dee Dee was externally so grateful for her dad's help over the last 2 months that she wanted to show her appreciation by cooking for him and his wife, Laura May. How sweet. How kind. Oh my gosh. We so appreciate it. No problem. Of course, anytime.
I didn't know this part.
I didn't either.
Prepping for this episode.
Yeah.
This is shocking. Okay.
I can't believe that this has not made its way into so many. Yeah. Well, maybe some of them have it. There's so much content out there about this case. It's kind of never ending.
But you didn't watch the right content about this case, it seems, or to get the facts or okay.
All of a sudden, Laura May is getting sick. And
okay. So this story about Dee Dee putting Roundup in Laura May's food, her stepmother's food, comes from Gypsy. It doesn't, and why when I say it comes from Gypsy, it's because yes, Claude and Laura May also related this story. They didn't see it happen. They said Gypsy pointed to the Roundup and said, "Oh, my mom's putting that in the food." Something like that, right? And so now they're going to ask questions about this. And listen to the questions they're going to ask about this, because the questions I asked about this, like, are we not calling the police? What do you mean she tried to kill her? And we don't, I mean, I know she was wanted for the financial crimes, right? She's wanted for the financial crimes, but now she's back in whatever, Lafourche Parish, I guess. I guess she's not running from the law anymore, but now she's trying to murder somebody, but nobody calls the police. Very suspect, right? The villainization of Dee Dee that went on after she was murdered is really disturbing. And yeah, you girls now have a part in the villainization of the true victim of this case, which was Dee Dee Blanchard. You thought the victim was Gypsy. Now you're learning, no, Gypsy is actually the villain. She actually murdered her mother, and she actually was really sick as a kid. And she also told her grandfather, and I don't know, was she kind of like the bad seed child? Did she, hey, my mom's putting that in the food? I don't know. You got to wonder.
No one can understand why. Until one afternoon when Gypsy Rose is playing in the living room and Claude is sitting in his favorite chair, watching over her when Gypsy Rose points to a box in the corner and tells Claude, like, oh my gosh, those are the special vitamins that mom puts in Laura May's food. Now Claude is like, what? Because he's looking at the box. He's pretty dang confused because that box is not a box of vitamins. That box is a box of...
And so, okay. And then the other thing I'm asking, well, Dee Dee's getting home from the hospital and she can't stand, but she's doing all the cooking. I don't know. Something just seems off about this story to me. It just doesn't. Oh.
Roundup weed killer. So Dee Dee had been full on poisoning her stepmother.
Oh my God.
And Gypsy Rose witnessed it, and Dee Dee was saying to her, oh, these are just special vitamins for Laura May.
Yeah. And Dee Dee is not here to rebut any of this narrative and these lies. And yeah.
I got to put the vitamins.
Which also shows that Gypsy Rose was innocent. She really didn't understand.
Also,
oh my God.
She taught up to a second grade level. So like, I don't, I'm not aware of what her like reading comprehension was.
Oh my God. Oh my
really
God.
Like, everything was going on around her. As it turns out, Dee Dee knew Laura May from her time working as a nurse's aide, and regardless of what she felt for Laura May back then, she now hated her. And her mother had just passed away, and now Laura May was married to her father less than a year later after her mom's passing.
Because the hate came from, and look, this is the rumor that they were having Claude and Laura May were together while Emma was dying. Okay. And that Dee Dee then resented Laura, obviously, didn't like her, right? I mean, that makes sense to me. Do I know that as a fact? No, I don't know it as a fact, but that makes more sense than Dee Dee liked Laura before, but now she hates her for no reason. No.
And she was just like, my mom's body's barely cold. Now this woman's in my house.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And again, like, whatever. The real psychological reasoning
doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Dee Dee's never outwardly said it, but it's believed that she hated Laura May and she wanted her gone. And had Gypsy Rose not pointed out this box of Roundup weed killer to Claude, Dee Dee likely would have succeeded in poisoning.
Oh my God. girl, if somebody is going to poison somebody with Roundup, they are dead. Okay. I mean, I don't understand this. And the way Claude and Laura May talk about it, she was in bed for 9 months. What? No, you go to the are you not going to the hospital during the 9 months where they can test for poison and see what's going on in your system? See, it just doesn't make any sense.
Laura May to death.
No, this is so shocking to me because you would think, even though they're family, you would think that someone would say something, like something would happen from this.
You.
Like, you just tried to kill someone.
Right.
But no, and also it's like, what the are you doing to your own daughter now? Like, how does that not extend to everyone else around you?
It's infuriating.
Maybe it's not true.
But literally nothing happened. Nothing. Claude simply asked Dee Dee and Gypsy Rose to leave. That's it. So they packed up their things. They moved back to New Orleans area to a small town called Slidell. And yeah, no consequences, no reports, no police, nothing. I'm sure it probably fractured the relationship with Claude, but which probably made it even harder to like monitor Gypsy Rose.
Yeah.
But so a new town meant new doctors. Dee Dee took Gypsy Rose to Tulane University Hospital and again told doctors that
Gypsy was at Tulane before they moved to Slidell. Gypsy was always going to Tulane. Okay? No, this isn't new doctors.
Had muscular dystrophy. The team ran some tests.
What?
But they found nothing. And here's another aspect of the story that really does prove that Dee Dee wasn't doing this out of concern, but more for attention, because for years she had been telling people that Gypsy Rose had muscular dystrophy. And the only reason to take it to doctors again at this point was to continue to get that attention. Mm-hmm. When tests found nothing, Dee Dee took...
No, they couldn't diagnose what was wrong with Gypsy. That's why she kept trying to seek out what it was. If Dee Dee knew it was a lie, why would she want the test for muscular dystrophy? Why would she seek it out if it was all fake? You'd be like, nah, you wouldn't be seeking it out, you know? I mean,
took Gypsy Rose to a different doctor, and that cycle continued. Speaking of cycle,
didn't.
Despite all the medical intervention and who knows how many medications, Gypsy Rose started getting her own period, her first cycle, when she was 13. And she was terrified because going back to the education, Gypsy Rose did not have, and already the like sexual education is not great sometimes, but she had never learned about her period or what it meant or how to handle it.
It's a Carrie moment.
It really is. This poor girl was so disconnected from her body.
They don't know. They don't know that Gypsy is not disconnected from her body at all. Okay. But we're going to let them know. Don't worry. We're going to let them know Gypsy's not lacking in sex ed. There's not something that she's, They don't know. They don't know. It's not their fault. They don't know.
And Dee Dee didn't bother really to like explain it to her. And she basically just was like, wear a diaper. Like it didn't serve her to teach Gypsy Rose about this. So she was like, it's not worth talking about. Wear a diaper.
And she can't really
Yeah, I don't know why Gypsy wore the period diapers. I don't know any about, you know what I mean? I don't know how that started or whatever. But then to assume that Gypsy knew nothing about sex when we know how okay. But anyways, okay. We'll school them in a minute.
Control her cycle.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, then another tragedy struck the Blanchards in August of 2005 because remember they were settled in New Orleans, and this was when Hurricane Katrina came and devastated the area.
It's just like tragedy after tragedy.
Mm-hmm. Hurricane Katrina was a catastrophic Category 5 hurricane that struck the Gulf Coast and devastated New Orleans. It caused massive flooding and widespread displacement, and even today, New Orleans is still recovering from the damage and devastation.
Yeah.
And Dee Dee and Gypsy evacuated to a shelter for people with special needs in Covington, Louisiana, which was about 30 minutes north of their home in Slidell. It was a month or so before they could get back home and check on things, and when they did, there really wasn't much left, but there was someone who could help. Dee Dee and Gypsy had met a volunteer doctor while they were at their shelter, and they told him about Gypsy's medical issues and how Dee Dee was struggling. She was a single mother, and the doctor really wanted to help them get back on their feet, right? So he arranged for Dee Dee and Gypsy to be evacuated to Aurora, Missouri. So now they are suddenly moving hundreds of miles away from everything that they knew, which could be scary for so many people, but not for Dee Dee. For Dee Dee, this was a dream come true because now
the Hurricane Katrina was not a dream come true for Dee Dee or anyone at Ground Zero, okay? This is, again, this narrative that, okay.
There is no one around them that can question what she's doing and what she's saying when it came to Gypsy. And just when she thought that it couldn't get any better, a local news crew met their helicopter at St. John's Hospital where they were being dropped off. And all of a sudden, she was back to being the center of attention in the best way possible. The reporters were amazed by how much adversity she'd overcome. They called her an inspiration.
And if this story was real, if all of these medical conditions were real and not made up and it wasn't child abuse, a person in that situation would be such an inspiration and what a like loving, caring woman.
Right. Well, now you have an apology to give Dee Dee. Now you guys need to apologize. I know she's dead, but I think she's owed an apology, right? I mean, yeah, she was struggling. Yeah, her daughter was sick. More sick than you guys know, okay, with what happens next and her behavior and her inappropriate sexual behavior and stuff that's just to come. It was a lot, okay? She had a little kid that was a psychopath, okay, that turned into a teenage psychopath, basically.
There are plenty of people out there that are deserving of the attention that happened here for the right reasons.
Yes.
Okay, so she's called an inspiration. She's getting all this attention. And not only that, but they wanted to help her and Gypsy however they could, which included getting them a brand new house. Woo! And Dee Dee was just like the picture of grace, right? She was smiling. She was hugging her daughter. They taking the good news. Oh my gosh, we feel so good. We feel so welcomed. But when it came time to move in, the news crew came to document the big moment, and volunteers lined up to bring in boxes of donations and get them all set up. And everything was just like working out so perfectly. And Dee Dee was so caught up in the attention that she completely forgot to inform her family that she and Gypsy Rose were alive after Katrina. Not just that they had moved, but that they...
Okay, I think where this story comes from is Christy saying that they were looking for Dee Dee and couldn't find her after Hurricane Katrina. We don't know what Dee Dee's relationship was with her siblings. It seemed to be estranged somewhat, you know. So this again is telling it this way, that Dee Dee made it a point not to notify Rod and Christy or Rod and Kathy or whoever he was with at the time that, you know, they had gone to Missouri. I don't know why this is an important part for these girls, but you know, you're talking about relationships that you really don't know that much about, you know, at all, really.
Yeah, were alive, that they had survived the hurricane.
For 2 full months, her family has no idea if they're okay. 2 months.
That is wild.
Isn't that crazy? It wasn't
even
until
crazier once you realize like how active she was on Facebook when Facebook became.
I know, yeah.
You're like, really? You didn't want to report every single moment of your
I'm
life
sure
to
people
everyone?
probably did see some of those things, but it was like there was no confirmed word from them. Like she never called them until October of 2005 when she finally, this was 2 months after Hurricane Katrina, Dee Dee finally calls Rod and Christy to tell them they're okay and that they're now in Missouri, which Rod is a little like taken aback by. You're going to stay in Missouri? Like, okay. But he's mostly just glad they're safe. So they settle in Missouri. Dee Dee takes Gypsy to Mercy Hospital in Springfield. This is about 30 minutes from Aurora. And her doctor there, Robert Steele, wanted to see Gypsy's medical records, which is great. As a doctor, you should always ask for medical records. But for the first time, Dee Dee has a real excuse. She says that all of the medical records were lost in Hurricane Katrina. So she told the doctor that no problem. I have all of Gypsy's health records memorized, like all of her problems. And
sorry, I was doing other stuff on my computer when I was screen recording this, and I just thought, oh, well, you know.
I have a background in nursing. So the doctor's like, oh, great, like, please share this with me. So Dee Dee rattled off the long list of medical issues: asthma, seizures, muscular dystrophy, cancer. And at hearing cancer, Dr. Steele stops Dee Dee and is like, okay, let's talk about the treatments, the specific treatments that Gypsy Rose had. And Dee Dee is kind of like, I can't remember. But she could remember everything single
else?
ailment dating back to infancy, but not what cancer treatment she had.
Which is so wild because she was stealing medication.
Okay, that's not true either. And, you know, I'm up in the air about the cancer, but if the cancer did happen, it happened when she was 5. So, yeah, and supposedly she was in remission. So, and again, I'm not saying she had it. I don't know yet. Okay, I don't know if I'll ever really know. But this story again about her memory, she didn't recount. Dee Dee was kind of a poor historian if you read through the medical records, okay? And I don't know if that is from PTSD, trauma, whatever, okay? But no, she did. When you read the medical records, it's not like Dee Dee was like flooring them with her medical knowledge. It's actually the opposite to me when I read them. It's like, no, she's not very well versed, that she's not like Johnny on the spot with stuff, you know? Okay.
For cancer treatment. Like, couldn't she have just said, like, I remember that there were like these 2 drugs and there was like something else.
Right.
Well, okay, this part floored me when this girl said this. Let me just back up just a minute. She's like claiming that Dee Dee stole cancer drugs. Cancer drug. What? Where does this come? What are you talking about? Hold on. Let me. Okay. Wait, that's too far back. Hold on. Okay, let's start it here.
But not ours. All of the tests came back normal. There was no sign of cancer at all, which Dr. Steele takes as a great sign. He's like super excited to tell Dee Dee this.
Remission.
Yeah, she's in remission. Great news. And then he also examines Gypsy for signs of muscular dystrophy and the disorder that Dee Dee had insisted that Gypsy had. But other than the fact that Gypsy was in a wheelchair, there was no evidence that there was anything wrong with her muscles.
Which I do wonder if he in that moment was wondering if there was something wrong with Dee Dee and what she was reporting, and if this was abuse, or if this was like, I feel like I would also go to like, okay, these people were living in this one place, they're getting diagnosed with all these crazy things. Was this medical malpractice where some other doctor was like being abusive and like mistreating and misdiagnosing this patient?
Unfortunately, neither of those seem to be what he thought. And I get this. Like, he was not a pediatric doctor or specific. So he is like, I must be missing something. So he refers Gypsy to a pediatric neurologist. So he's basically like, this is above my qualifications. You need to go to someone more specific.
It's so upsetting how many handoffs there are. Okay, but that's how Dee Dee and Gypsy ended up at the office of Dr. Bernardo Flasterstein. And he did what any neurologist would do. He ordered complete MRIs of Gypsy's brain and spine, neurological exams, muscle strength exams, and more. So the results from the MRIs come back normal. No evidence of muscular dystrophy, no neurological degeneration, no brain anomalies that would or could explain the severe symptoms that Dee Dee was describing. And then came a red flag. When Dr. Flasterstein examined Gypsy's legs, the first thing he noticed was that she had remarkably good muscle tone for someone who, according to Dee Dee, had not walked in 9 years.
Like, that doesn't happen.
Right. She's a secret
Your
midnight
muscles
walker.
atrophy.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't walk for 9 years.
Oh my gosh. And if you're not walking for 9 years, you're still going into physical therapy. Like, you're getting massages.
Okay. So, of course, again, I'm going to reiterate for people that are new that there is I'm going to bring it up after I have my break, this video of Gypsy relating to Nick Godejohn, her co-conspirator, that she can walk and that she was the one that kind of put herself in the wheelchair. That's according to Gypsy. So when Dr. Flasterstein sees Gypsy and examines her and knows that her muscle tone in her legs is not one of somebody that was never, ever, ever walking, he questioned it, right? There's something else, and this is kind of a side note, and I don't even know if I should bring this up right now, but I'm gonna. So I know a lot of people have always wondered about limb girdle. It's limb girdle muscular dystrophy, it's part of the muscular dystrophy family. And the only reason I'm bringing it up is because, do you guys remember that video? I think I have it, where Gypsy's walking. I'm going to show it. This video. And she waddles, the waddle. See the waddle? Side, 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 the waddle. Okay. So that is it's people that have limb girdle muscular dystrophy or a related disease. One of the symptoms is a waddle-like walk. And I just think that's interesting, because that is related to a chromosome issue, that limb girdle. I don't know a lot about it, but I've been like just thinking about it lately, because we've seen Gypsy on a couple different occasions since she's been out of prison, having difficulty walking. That one where she comes down off a ramp and she's walking very gingerly and she's got a step, like she's almost walking like a 75-year-old or 80-year-old, just like got a one step. I don't have that video, but I thought I would just bring this up because is it that I know that Dee Dee said in medical records, to nurses taking the H&P, the history and physical, one time she said Gypsy was paralyzed since birth. One time she said Gypsy's, paralyzed. But I'm also wondering if it was because Gypsy just needed, and I know a lot of you have said this too in different chats and different, different lives that have to do with Gypsy. Was it that she just had a lot of muscle weakness and it just became convenient for her to be in the chair? I don't know if we'll probably never know, but that way she walks is very distinctive. And it tells me she probably has some muscle issues, some connective tissue issues. It's my opinion. I don't know that for a fact. Okay. So we're almost to the part where you're going to hear Aurora's new name, which you're going to love.
Muscles like stretched and stuff. Because if you don't, that can be so incredibly, it can make everything worse. Okay. So he thought that this was odd. He didn't really know what to make of it. He's still trying to put it all together from a medical perspective, right? And then Dee Dee's reaction gave him pause. When he explained the results to her, that Gypsy had great muscle tone, Dee Dee got angry and then stormed out of his office with Gypsy in tow. And this was not the reaction that Dr. Flass.
Now, I don't know if Dr. Flasterstein, maybe he did say she got upset. I don't remember, but she didn't change doctors. That's for sure. I made sure I looked that up to see did Dee Dee really change doctors after this appointment? No, she didn't. Okay, she did not. She would stuck to 2 different hospitals, and she was already referred to the Children's Mercy before this appointment happened. Does that make sense? So before this appointment happens with Flasterstein, Dee Dee's already referred to Children's Mercy for Gypsy's dental issues. She's already been to Children's Mercy before this appointment. She didn't go to any other new hospital or any other new doctor. Okay. I don't know. Maybe Dee Dee was upset with Flasterstein. I don't know.
Flasterstein was expecting. He was like, okay, I'm giving Dee Dee this great news, right? Her daughter is actually healthy. This is so amazing.
Which Dee Dee could have said, like, oh, I do a lot.
No, but no, Flasterstein didn't give Dee Dee any great news. He questioned why Gypsy couldn't physically walk because he did the test, and looking at her, he's like, you know what? She should be able to walk. Okay. But he didn't say she's 100% healthy because you know what? She wasn't. And they still hadn't found the microdeletion yet. She still had all these other symptoms that they were treating. So no, this is wrong too.
A lot of therapy with her or PT and all these things. But no, she was like, that's not the diagnosis I wanted to hear.
Right.
No.
Yeah. So this made him extremely suspicious of what was going on. Dee Dee continued to bring Gypsy into his office for over 2 years. And while it's not clear what specifically happened.
Well, then I thought she was scared of him. Why would she bring, if Dee Dee was scared of Flasterstein, why would she continue to bring her there for 2 years? I don't even know if that part's true, but are they even listening to what they're saying?
Over those 2 years, after one appointment in 2007, Dr. Flasterstein decided to write something down in Gypsy Rose's file. He wrote that he suspected Munchausen by proxy, that Gypsy Rose was not the problem. Dee Dee was.
It is so sad
Chills.
knowing that a doctor had.
Okay, now we know that he did, but we also know in different videos that I've done about other parents who kids had weird disorders that could not be diagnosed, that they too were accused of Munchausen by proxy wrongly. Some of them were arrested and later found to be like not guilty of anything, right? So we know that this happens. So just because Flasterstein said Dee Dee potentially had it, there's lots of cases where this happens, especially when the child has such a strange and rare disorder that they can't nail down.
Suspicion of it, but it never escalated to anything else. Like the only reason we know this file exists is because of the eventual murder and trial that took place after the fact. But instead, it remained tucked in a file for years. Nothing ever came of it. In his defense, suspicion is not the same as proof. And it's very, very hard to prove Munchausen by proxy, or FDIA as it's called now. But it does make you wonder, like, if he had reported it, would it have made a difference? I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard.
Unfortunately, we can't live in hypotheticals. And around the same time that he started to have his suspicion is also the exact same time Dee Dee abruptly stopped taking Gypsy to see him, which doesn't seem like there was something that happened.
Said he went
but
to
we don't
2
know.
years. No,
She then found a doctor in 2007 who was an ear, nose, and throat doctor and convinced him that there was a problem with Gypsy's salivary glands that made Gypsy drool excessively. And
okay, good. We're on the salivary glands. Here we go. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. It's my favorite. My favorite. Yep, I love it. Okay. So for those of you that are new and don't know, Gypsy has what's called a high palate and a reverse tongue thrust. We're going to show you evidence of that reverse tongue thrust right now. Here we go. This is Gypsy. Hold on. You're going to watch the way she chews, and you're going to see her tongue keep darting out of her mouth, okay? And also the food falling out of her mouth. These are all, watch the tongue. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Okay? Yeah, that's not how normal people eat. I'm not saying, okay, I don't want to be mean. All right, she's got this reverse tongue thrust. Usually when you chew food, your tongue doesn't come out of your, okay, once again, you're going to watch the big tongue has to come out, and then she's going to get the reverse tongue thrust. The tongue will start darting out of her mouth. There, and here it comes again. There, and there. Okay, so I know most of you, unless you have a high palate, you don't have a reverse tongue thrust. Now, you may be asking, What does that have to do with anything? Well, it has to do with everything and difficulty swallowing. And here's a dentist to confirm what I've just told you, because you may say, well, just because Becca Scoops says she has a reverse tongue thrust doesn't mean she does. You just saw it, but what does it mean? Really quick, let's listen to this dentist.
Just to facilitate fluid, just flow into the back of it's going to go onto the roof of the mouth, and it's going to do a wave just to facilitate fluid, just flow into the back of the throat. So the swallowing motion, so imagine this is the palate of the mouth, and this is the tongue. So in a normal pattern of swallowing, the tip of the tongue, 2/3 of the tongue is going to go onto the roof of the mouth, and it's going to do a wave just to facilitate fluid, just flow into the back of the throat. So the swallowing motion should be very easy. The muscle that should be involved in this process should be the tongue and the lips. What the lips does is create a seal, and what the tongue does is facilitate the fluid to flow down the back of the throat. But in the reverse swallow, there's more muscle that involved, especially what causes mentalis than what we like. So in a reverse swallow, your child actually start the motion of swallowing from the back of the throat. So it's going to wave from the back, and then the tongue is going to poke forward. So this will explain a lot of the children who has reverse swallow. They will have either an overjet of the entire front teeth area, or mainly the two front teeth. You see those rabbit looking teeth move more forward on there. So that's indicative of where the tongue is pushing at the ending of the force of the swallowing process. So in order for the lips now to create a seal in order to swallow without spilling stuff outside the mouth, your lips is now going to have to overly work. So in my case, when I swallow, there should be no movement right here, because the only thing that is involved during the process of swallowing is.
Did you notice in Gypsy's, the video I showed you, a lot of jaw motion, a lot, and she's not even in big amounts of anything. It's just, there's, right? Like this dentist is talking about, usually there's not a lot of that. Of course, the reverse swallow. Okay. So, well, what does it have to do with the salivary glands? Well, the other problem with this reverse swallow is saliva collects in your mouth, okay? And this is what's going on with Gypsy. Because she didn't have the ability to swallow correctly, saliva accumulates and she can choke on it. It was a problem. And so this is why they had the salivary gland removal. Now, this is going to be something funny, because this other woman is going to mention, well, why didn't they do Botox treatments before they took out salivary glands? It's weird, because like she knew something about it. And for those of you that are, been around here a long time, you know that they actually did do Botox treatments on Gypsy before they ever took the salivary glands out. They did a lot of things. They worked on her for 2.5 years before they ever, like different treatments to try to fix the problem before they ever took any salivary glands out. But yeah, so it's just interesting that, they think that Dee Dee came up with this, and the one girl's like going to say, well, this is a weird thing to come up with. Well, because she didn't come up with it, because she actually had the problem. It wasn't like Dee Dee was sitting around and going, I wonder what surgery I can get doctors to do on my daughter now. What about salivary gland removal? I mean, that would be really bizarre, right? Yeah, but all right. Let's get back to this, and I'm going to find that salivary gland thing for you.
To surgically remove them, and he did. Again, surgery that she didn't need.
And also just for like the most random,
I know.
It's like try Botox or something first.
It's horrible. As you imagine, the recovery wasn't easy. Gypsy was sent home with painkillers, and
okay, so I found it. All right. Okay. They did medication by mouth first for the hypersalivation. The doctor orders the barium swallow test, January 04. January 04, they do the barium swallow. Notes exhibited, difficulty in swallowing. March 05, doctor notes patient receives Botox therapy to her major glands, good results. And then Hurricane Katrina hits. Gypsy was supposed to have surgery, but then Hurricane Katrina hits, and she doesn't have the salivary glands removed until she gets to Missouri. But the treatment started in January 2004. She doesn't have the glands removed until 2006. So this wasn't something that doctors didn't look at over and over and over again. They didn't witness themselves. Wasn't like it was being made up. Of course, Gypsy claims, oh, my mom put Orajel on my... No, you wouldn't have enough Orajel to keep them numb for long enough plus Orajel, like at that amount, can poison you. It's smelly. It just doesn't. No, look, you see the reverse swallow. She's got it. That's why she had the issues. She wants to pretend all she wants. She didn't have or she doesn't still have the issue when she does. Okay, let's go on. We're almost to the end here.
Ran out. She was feeling a lot of discomfort. She decided to take her healthcare into her own hands and not in a safe way. She knew that Dee Dee had been taking Vicodin ever since the car accident back.
I'm going to fast forward here a little bit.
Kennedy gave Dee Dee the keys to another brand new custom built home in Springfield. Wonderful.
Yeah.
But none of this actually made Gypsy feel happy. Although she had her mom, Gypsy really just wanted friends, right? Like a normal relationship with someone.
Yeah. Beyond her mom. Like her mom is still her entire life.
Well, and her mom is not a normal relationship.
No, definitely not.
At this point, Gypsy Rose is 14 years old, and even with her health issues, she still really wanted to bond with kids her age, just like any other teenager would want to do, right? But Dee Dee pretty much made that impossible. Whenever they were out in public, Dee Dee usually had her arm around Gypsy. She was holding her hand.
Controlling.
If Gypsy started to say something Dee Dee didn't like, Dee Dee would like give her a really quick squeeze and basically silence her, like stop talking.
These are all stories from Gypsy.
Talking now. Even when they weren't right next to each other, Dee Dee was always lurking somewhere nearby, and Gypsy just felt like she never had the moment or ability to speak her mind at all, not even about normal teenage stuff, like having a boyfriend. Then, in 2009, the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society sent Gypsy a laptop for Christmas. And finally, she had a place away from her mom where her mom could not watch her, which was the internet.
Yeah.
Every night when Dee Dee went to sleep, Gypsy would tiptoe to the laptop and go online. She created a secret Facebook account and started messaging other kids in the neighborhood. She was so desperate to become friends with some of the like really cool 17 and 18-year-olds that she'd seen. And night after night, she would keep talking to people online, many of them strangers.
So by 2011,
Okay, so they don't know how much that was correct. All right, according to people in the know, a Gypsy hit on other men in the group via Facebook, men in their 30s and 40s. This is from people in the community. Megan Pack's thought catalog. That was the very first week after the murder. This people came forward to tell Megan Pack about Gypsy's internet activities that they witnessed. Gypsy was hitting on men in their 30s and 40s via Facebook. But these women seem to think Gypsy's this shy, virginal, doesn't understand anything about sex, young woman, and that just isn't the case, okay? They don't know how wrong they've got her.
Gypsy had a whole secret life online. But, okay, this is a very important part of the story. At this point, in 2011, Gypsy Rose believes she is 16 years old because that is what her mother told her. Her mother told her she was born in 1995.
Okay, now that I'm fast forwarding. They're going to do the whole age thing just so that they know. Gypsy always knew her age. And here we're going to list. Gypsy claimed she didn't know her age because her mother never put candles on her birthday cakes. That's what Gypsy said in an interview. Okay. Now, after that was proven to be false because people came up with pictures of Gypsy with the candles on her cake, Gypsy came up with a new story that you all are going to love. I know a lot of you know this story, but this floors me every time I hear it. After the candle thing was debunked, look, Gypsy, you did have candles on your cake. What do you mean you didn't know your age? Because that was her excuse, right? Well, my mom didn't put candles on my cake, so I didn't know how old I was, right? After that was debunked, Gypsy decided to come up with a new excuse, and we're going to take a listen to it here because it's so ridiculous. I can't even believe it.
So if I had numbers on my like haven't they given to think that the birthday parties that I had, I feel like it was young to remember that. So
whether you had birthday candles, stupid shit like that.
Yeah, birthday candles. Like haven't they given to think that the birthday parties that I had, I feel like was for other people. If they had candles on the birthday cake, it wasn't because my mom said, hey, you are this old. It was because, hey, we're having a party where a lot of people are going to be invited. And
okay, let me just get this straight. Let me get this straight. I had to hear this over and over again when she first said it. Let me get this straight. Your mom said you're having a party and having a lot of people over. You didn't know it was for your birthday. And when they set you in front of the cake, what are you talking about? You thought it was for somebody else. What are we talking about? Okay, I just want to listen to it one more time because I want to make sure I get this straight because this is really important here. this excuse. Here we go.
Candles, stupid shit like that.
Yeah, birthday candles. Like, haven't they given to think that the birthday parties that I had, I feel like was for other people? If they had candles on the birthday cake.
I feel like the birthday parties that I had, I feel that they were for other people. What are you talking about? What? So people came to a party, a birthday party for you, but everyone's like, shh, mom's the word. Don't tell her it's her birthday, but it's a birthday party for her. I don't get it. I am having a hard time figuring this shit out. Can someone help me? What is she talking? What? It's a surprise birthday party, but we're going to keep the surprise during the whole party. Okay, don't you tell her. Don't you tell her it's her birthday. Okay? What is happening here? What is going on here? Okay, I had to do that because I've never talked about this part, and always was just like, what are you talking about, Gypsy? What do you?
It wasn't because my mom said, hey, you are this old. It was because, hey, we're having a party where a lot of people are going to be invited. And, you know, at an age, that stopped. So, like, I really didn't have numbers on my candles after, like, 13.
Okay, so you had numbers on your candles till candles on your cake till you were 13, and it stopped at 13 when you knew you were 13, because you said you would know, because yes, the candles were there up until 13, and then when you turned 13, there was no more candles, and so you forgot your age at 13. Okay. Yeah. That's not working out for me at all. I don't know about you guys. Okay. That's not, where's my little dog? I want my little doggy. Where's the doggy? Got to do the doggy for this one. Oh, I don't know where he went. There he is. It's like, what are you talking about, Gypsy? What are you talking about? Okay. All right. We're running out of time. So I promised you that I would get to what they have renamed Aurora. They've renamed Aurora. It's a special name. I don't know. Maybe you'll even like the new name better. Let's get to that real quick. Here we go.
Had barely said hi when Dee Dee yanked her away,
We're gonna
pushing her chair down the hall to the audience.
What I'll probably do is that there's just about 15 minutes left of them going over Nick and Dan and all that. You know, it's the same. You guys know everything about it. I think we've done our worst. Maybe in a video I'll go over this little part, but I want to get to Aurora because it is I want to get to the name of Aurora. It must be towards the end, right? When they get to it. Yeah, it's where they get to the end. Let's see.
Early 2016, Mike presented the records as mitigation evidence on Gypsy's behalf, and the prosecution looked it over and quickly agreed to a plea deal. Gypsy would not be going to trial.
Which is interesting because I feel like had they gone to trial, would Gypsy have?
I will probably go over the rest of this because they do make they make the same mistakes, you know. Well, anyways.
Kind of more of like,
yeah, I wonder if she'd go to prison at all.
Right. Because clearly able to eat freely, speak freely, and make decisions for herself, which would have happened, I think, either way because her mom had died. Most importantly, she was able to get therapy and process the things that had happened.
Okay, Gypsy claims she did not get therapy in prison. Just an FYI for these women also. I have that if they want it. It's actually, I don't have it up in the studio right now, but I have Gypsy writing that she did not qualify for therapy, she said, in prison. So no, I know you feel better thinking that she did get therapy in prison, but according to her, she did not.
Which was also part of the reason that Gypsy agreed to testify on behalf of Nick's defense. She was 2 years in because the difference came down to choice.
Right.
And
so she agreed. We know why she did not agree to testify for Nick. The prosecution did not want her as their witness. Okay. They were like, get her away from our case. We don't want anything to do with her. I've explained that many times too, but I want to get to this part about Gypsy's daughter's new name.
And he is currently serving that sentence in Potosi Correctional Center in Missouri.
On December 28th, 2023.
Here we go.
So recent.
Yeah, 3 years ago.
2.5 years. Yeah,
like 2.5 years ago by the time. I'm like, when does this come out? 32-year-old Gypsy Rose Blanchard was released from prison after serving 8 years of her 10-year sentence. Upon her release, she immediately got onto social media and gained millions of followers.
Millions.
She's done multiple high-profile interviews, released multiple memoirs, starred in a Lifetime docuseries called Gypsy Rose: Life After Lockup, got married, separated, and then got back with a former fiance, And then just a few months ago, in January 2025, she and her partner, Ken Erker, had a baby girl named Eden.
What? What? So there's Kathy, there's Aurora, and they have a new daughter named Eden. Okay. So Eden, Aurora, Kathy. I can't anymore. I can't. They're going to say it again. They're going to say Eden again. They're going to say Eden again. Just wait. Just back it up here a minute. Just back it up here just a minute. Just a minute. Okay. Hold on. Here we go. Ready? Here we go.
Docuseries called Gypsy Rose Life After Lockup, got married, separated, and then got back with a former fiance. And then just a few months ago, in January 2025, she and her partner, Ken Erker, had a baby girl named Eden.
But I do really want to believe that the therapy she received while in prison helped her.
Oh, God, I can't.
That she worries about such prolonged
Oh,
abuse and trauma that
yes.
she endured.
Yes.
And like
And
how
so,
it
the
will
people that
continue
are attracted
to
to her
that.
and her life, like that's a hard thing. Or like people are trying to manipulate
Girl.
her still.
Yeah.
It's tough.
But we're not psychological professionals. And we also haven't spoken to Gypsy Rose herself. All we can really talk about or judge upon is
shit.
what has been shared in the media, which we also know that like media can be deceiving.
And you guys can be deceiving.
But the truth is her story is devastating. She was 100% manipulated and abused by
And they pretend like they didn't talk to Gypsy, but they know about Eden and Aurora. I didn't even know about Eden or Kathy. I thought I knew everything about this case, but obviously I didn't, because there's Eden and there's Kathy. You know, who are these people? I don't know.
by the person that was meant to care and love for her. And yes, she is guilty for the murder of her mother, but like she is 100% a victim.
Yeah.
She is 100% a victim. I'm telling you guys. Girls, sit down. Yes.
And that's what makes this case so tricky too. And also popular because a lot of people wonder whether justice was
I wonder if Kathy babysits. I wonder if Kathy babysits Eden. I can't, you guys. I can't. Oh God, it's too much. It's too much. Okay.
served here because Dee Dee's life wasn't the only one that was stolen.
Oh,
Gypsy's was
thank
too.
you for
Yeah.
that.
Since her
Gypsy's life was stolen. She's it's didn't you hear she's living her best life? Didn't you guys hear? What do you mean her life was stolen? What do you guys talk? Get out of here. All right. Get out of here. All right. Look, if you're watching this, the crime house, look, just snarking a little bit. I mean, I'm not laughing at you. It's just funny. Okay. I would love for you guys to reach out to me. I would love to send you guys could do like a whole series on this. You wouldn't believe it, you guys. Seriously. You know what? Your subscribers would thank you for setting the record straight. They would actually thank you, say, hey, we got this wrong. But now we've got all the information. Don't take my word for it. I did show a lot of receipts. Yes, but I can send you everything. You can research it yourself and do a whole video or a whole couple videos on it. And I swear to God, you guys will get a lot of views and people will thank you. We'll be thanking you for that. All right. But I appreciate you took it down. I do. I'm glad. And I feel bad. But okay. All right, guys. Kathy is babysitting Eden. Yeah. Okay. Let me get to some more of your comments here before we say goodnight. Let's see what you guys have to say. All right. We've got Sharon Howard, 884, $5. So they got Gypsy's medical records. Oh, I said this last time. Considering Gypsy's claim she doesn't have them. Yeah. Where did they get them from? Exactly, Sharon. And we got Jesse M, super $5.99 super sticker. Thank you, Jesse. And we got Jesse X. Oh, I did this one too. Dystrophy. Yeah, I guess I did a couple of these. I did do this one too. Thank you, The Beach. And Christy Gagnon, super sticker, $5.49. Thank you. And we've got Meow 4803 became a new member. Welcome. Thank you for being here. We got Snowflake and Fireflies, £1.99. Hey, yeah, Becca, did you know Dee was Al Capone? Right? There he is, right there. I should have known, right? Yes. Next up, we got Lady Amnesty, member for 9 months. Congrats. Thank you for being here. Next up, we've got my loyal mod, Mersey Me, $1.99. Congrats, Truth Train. Video removed. Wow. That when I was seeing that in the chat, I was like, video removed. I thought you guys meant the video you couldn't see the video I was playing. And I kept looking over here because here's where I can see what you guys see. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, yeah, my video is still playing over there. So I was like really confused. All right. Yeah, that was kind of confusing. Granny in Missouri, $2. The video has been removed. Way to go, Becca. Thank you, Granny. Thank you. S31 MA90 BAM $2. They took it down. Yes, we are all. Wow, Claire, 50 pounds. Thank you so much. It's super generous of you, Claire. Becca, thank you for being my savior in the crazy. If it's the last thing I do, I want to be around when Dee Dee's name is who she was, a mother who made some mistakes, but always did her best for her child. Absolutely. 100%, Claire. And Dee Dee is the victim. 1,000%, Claire. 1,000%. We all stand with you. Thank you so much for being here, Claire. Next up, we've got Jill B. Canadian, $27.99. Thanks, Becca, for clearing up this misinformation out there, as well as I sent you an email about helping you and Lori out. Oh, okay, great. Thanks, Jill B. I will be looking for that. Definitely appreciate any help. Beth Ridden, 5850, member for 2 months. Becca, I think these young ladies did their research by watching the act. Let's go, The Truth Train. I think so too. Actually, The Truth Train. Actually, the act was an entertaining series. I'm not saying it isn't, but it got a lot wrong. It got a lot wrong. Yep. Okay. Next up, Claire again, 10 pounds. Stop with the saying Dee Dee abused her. She never abused her. Yeah, I agree. No evidence, but we have evidence of Dee Dee being abused. Just stop. Yeah. I didn't even get around. Thanks for reminding me, Claire. I didn't even get around to telling these women about when when Gypsy shot Dee Dee with the pellet gun. They don't mention that. I can tell you, I've watched the whole thing. They don't mention that either. All right. Next up, we've got Snowflakes and Fireflies. The Goldwater rule means it's completely unethical to diagnose someone you've never met with a psychological disorder. This is infuriating. Yes, it is, Snowflakes and Firefly. Thanks for that. I never heard of the Goldwater rule, but thank you for informing me of it. The Beach, ZW, $2. Can we have a watch live party for the documentary? Well, of course, goes without saying. Next up, we got Connie Blue Sky 72, $1.99. Stop the false narratives. Absolutely, Connie, 100%. We got Nutella Nick, 90, member for 2 months. I hope your documentary's progress is coming along well. Truth Train is going to bulldoze Gypsy's walls of lies. Appreciate everything you're doing. Yeah, Lori, the dream expert, actually posted an update about the documentary over on her YouTube page if you want to see that post. I didn't read through it all. She just informed me of a little bit stuff today, little tidbits today, that there is something that happened that was kind of good today. These things do take time, but if you want to see what Lori has to say, go over to her page. And I think she wrote a post about whatever happened behind the scenes. I can't say it here, but I can say it's good news and things are very positive. So yes. All right. Next up, we've got Shelly Dawn, 1978. Became a YouTube member. Thank you, Shelly. Appreciate that. We've got Karen 73, $4.99. I really hope they take this as an opportunity to look at the facts and tell the real story. Yes, that is my bet. That is my goal. It's not just to have them take it down. That's one victory, right? Because now it's gone and nobody can watch the misinformation, right? It's not because I want something bad to happen to their channel or I want something bad to happen to that girl's TikTok. Quite the contrary. I want them to have a great channel and a great TikTok account. but I want them to find out the real facts and then put that out. Like they're saying they're true crime people. And I'm thinking, okay, this is a great story. You guys need to put this out there, so hopefully, fingers crossed, that's what will happen. Okay. Next up, we got Joanne Wall, 6333, $4.99. Thank you, Joanne. Appreciate that so much. And thank you for being here, Joanne. And we got Arlene, 8468, $5. Been following from the beginning. Thank you, Arlene. I really appreciate that. So glad you are getting the truth out there. Chew. Thank you, Arlene. Appreciate you being one of the OG members. I really do. Next up, we have Ella Bella Spunkarella. $5. Becca, every time you need to clock these people, don't feel bad about showing receipts. All right. We have no problem seeing all the proof again. Hashtag DDverse. Yeah, I love the term DDverse. I'm going to try to start saying that myself. Really love that, Ella. And I appreciate you telling me, because sometimes I do feel kind of bad because I'm like, I really need to get the word out here on these people that are putting out this wrong stuff, and I'm like always hoping that you guys will be up for that on a live stream. And so I know you guys know as much as I do about it. So I appreciate you guys hanging around and watching this and showing the people how many people, are actually in this community that care about it. That's important too. Showing your guys' comments on the screen like it's here when people watch this. Okay, next up, we got Magistabel. I think I'm saying that right. Became a member. Well, congratulations. Thank you for being here. I hope you enjoyed the live. Next up, we've got Tawny Tashagen. Also became a member. Another new member. Welcome aboard, Tawny. Glad to see you on the truth train. Next up, we got Joanne Wall again, $4.99. If GRB only had a second grade education, that means all learning and emotional growth stopped then. I don't think life and learning work like that. Exactly. Many kids are homeschooled. Kids are brought up in all different kinds of situations. What happened before there was even schools around? You know what I mean? Look, going to school doesn't mean that's the only way you can mature and grow, right? It's stupid to think like that. That's not how the world works, right? Next up, Zombie Pirate 23, $2 super sticker. Thank you, Zombie Pirate. Glad to see you in the chat. One of our favorites, Zombie Pirate, member for 4 months. Love what you are doing. Keep showing the lies and proving people wrong. More people are joining the truth train. I missed the live, but will be in the replay group. Great, Zombie Pirate. We missed you. Can't wait to see what you went over. Well, thank you, Zombie Pirate. You're one of our favorites. You're loyal. You're always supporting us. And so thank you so much. Next up, we've got Lana, or Lam, I think that at Lana, Llama, 7466. Welcome them aboard. They joined the truth train too. Glad to see you here. Thank you for being here. Next up, Zombie Pirate, gifted 1 Becca Scoop membership. Thank you, Zombie Pirate. It's very, very generous of you. Next up, one of our favorites, Citizen Jenks, also gifted 1 Becca Scoops membership. Thank you, Citizen Jenks. That's very, very generous of you. Thank you. And Citizen Jenks coming back with $5. We need to be in the comments on all videos and articles pointing to the truth. Hashtag ban Gypsy Rose. Citizen Jenks, I couldn't agree more. You guys, that's why I always say it's not me, it's you guys doing the work. I do my little thing here, but you guys are going to the articles, going to the videos, right? It's you guys. So that's why I really, really value this community so much. Next up, we've got Little Kitty 8820, also became a new member. Welcome them on board. Thank you for being here, Little Kitty. I hope you enjoyed the live. Next up, we got Citizen Jenks X, who's been a member for 3 months. Excessive saliva could lead to aspiration bad. Right. So for those of you that don't know, really quick, so when you get too much saliva in your mouth, what you worry about is that, in layman's terms, it'll go down the wrong hole, right? It won't go down to your stomach and your digestive tract, but it will go down to your lungs. And that's called aspiration. And you can die from that eventually. So that's why it's so important. Like they have the sleep studies and they're doing all that. With the excess of saliva, it's very dangerous. It can be life-threatening. I know it sounds crazy, but it actually can. So it was a serious thing that, thank God, Dee Dee followed up on. It's another one, right? That potentially saved her life, getting those salivary glands removed. A lot of people still think she has issues with saliva. It's possible. All right. Let's see. Next up, we've got Sherry Bunn, the second $3 super sticker. Thank you, Cherry. Thank you so much, Cherry. And we've got our favorite, B. McKenna, 2024, $10 super sticker. B. McKenna, good to see you. Hope you have a happy Easter. Thank you for the $10. And next up, we've got Cherry Bun coming back with $5. I find it laughable when they said GRB wanted friends, but literally threatened another child and told an SA victim it's their fault that it happened. Yeah, exactly. Especially that second part. That totally agree 100%, Cherry Bun. Thank you for reminding us of that. Snowflakes and Firefly coming in with £1.99. It was her dream to see the to see the Eden lights with Kathy. She wanted to take a trip with Kathy to see the Eden lights. Couldn't agree more, Snowflakes and Firefly. Couldn't agree more. Next up, we got one of our favorite Shorty Pie, 97, $5. There are multiple memoirs Gypsy. Where are the multiple memoirs Gypsy wrote? Wow, these women are so misinformed. Yeah, I got it from that memoir and that memoir. I mean, yeah, it's crazy, right? All right, Shorty Pie, it's crazy. All right, next up, we got Pat's and Pajama member for 11 months. Love this. Will you do lives with the panel again? Yeah, thinking about it. Totally thinking about it. If you guys have some recommendations, if you guys really want that, of course I'll do that. Of course I will. Yeah, just let me know. Email me, beccascoops@gmail.com. Email me who you'd like to see on panel. I would be happy to do that for you, Pat's Pajama. Okay, next up, we've got B. McKenna, 2024, $20. As someone who can't get pregnant due to an autoimmune disease, it makes me feel awful to see this gremlin being able to be a mother and making an April Fool's joke publicly. It's funny to do in private to a relative. Yeah, B. McKenna, I was saying this. As you know, her BFF, or so-called BFF, Bree, I guess, I've been informed. I've actually heard it from Bree's mouth that she struggles with infertility. And so, yeah, very tone deaf. Gypsy's tone deaf every time. All right. Thanks, B. McKenna. Thanks for being here. Next up, we got Pat's Pajama coming in with $10 Canadian dollars. Hopefully they will repost a video with the correction. Exactly. And an update with accurate information. Miss your lives with panels. You can do both, right? Yeah, of course I can. We know you're very busy. Of course I can, Pat. Yeah, email me, Pat. Let me know what you want to see. I will definitely listen. All right. And that's going to do it for our comments for this live stream. We have gone way over time. You guys have hung around with me. I appreciate this on this, what we call Holy Thursday in Catholic land. Is Holy Thursday. Tomorrow's Good Friday. And then, of course, we got Easter Sunday coming up. But don't worry, I will not abandon you. I will not abandon you. I will, of course, come out with a video or something for you guys over the weekend, for your Easter weekend or spring break weekend if you don't celebrate Easter. I really hope you guys enjoyed tonight's live. I want to personally thank you for hanging out with me on this one, because I knew you guys knew most of that. I knew that, but I was hoping we could do a little something, and it worked way quicker than I thought it would. They went ahead and took down the video. So I'm saying victory for us over here, right? Yeah, getting videos taken down one at a time. And again, of course, you guys know it's not my intention to hurt somebody's channel. Of course not. Of course not. No, I would never do that. All right, guys, I want to tell you I love you all. Again, I wish you guys a great weekend, Easter weekend or spring break weekend, whatever you guys celebrate. I'll be thinking about you, and I will make sure I make some kind of a video between now and, then. I will not leave you abandoned, I promise. Please always feel free to email me, beccascoops@gmail.com. I look forward to your emails. I try to read all of them. And what else? Is there anything else? And if you are new and you're not subscribed to my channel, consider becoming a sub if you like this content. Yeah, we appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. We will see you soon. I love you all. Becca Scoops out. Good night, guys.